Welcome to the quiet side of the cosmos, where the stars no longer rush to be seen, and time itself slows down enough for you to breathe again. Tonight, you're not just falling asleep, you're floating gently through a universe that has been dreaming for 13 billion years. Every galaxy, every planet, every beam of light has waited for this moment to be noticed softly, without urgency, without noise. You'll hear 100 peaceful facts, not shouted, but whispered like distant constellations. Each one, a small spark of calm. How starlight is older than language, how gravity hums beneath everything, how silence itself might be the universe remembering its first breath. Let the words move like driftwood on a cosmic tide. You don't need to keep up, the story will carry you. Between each thought, there's space enough to rest. Between each star, there's peace enough to sleep. So close your eyes, the sky will stay open for you. And as you drift between galaxies and dreams, remember, you're part of all of this. Not a visitor, but a reflection of the infinite calm you're about to explore. Welcome to 100 peaceful facts about the universe. Before there was sound, there was quiet, a quiet so complete that even the word silence would feel too loud to describe it. No stars, no time, no space, only a pause so vast it had never ended, because it had never begun. Imagine floating in that pause, not as a person, but as awareness itself, waiting for the first heartbeat of reality. There is no darkness here yet, because even darkness needs light to be its opposite. There is simply nothing, a calm beyond measure. From that stillness, something begins to tremble, not like noise, but like a whisper forming under an infinite breath. A gentle imbalance, a thought, the first subtle motion in a sea that has no edge. It isn't chaos, it isn't explosion, it's expansion, slow and soundless. The birth of space is not a bang, but a bloom. Everything that will ever exist starts to stretch outward, peacefully, like a flower opening in slow motion, petal by invisible petal. In the earliest moments of the universe, time itself was soft and uncertain. It didn't tick or move in lines. It flowed, like warm water. A single second could hold an eternity. An eternity could feel like a breath. If you could watch it unfold, you wouldn't see a violent spark. You'd see a gentle spreading of potential, an ocean of energy settling into balance. That early expansion was quiet because there was nothing yet to carry sound. Sound needs air, atoms, vibration, but there was none. Only pure energy, smoothing itself out, cooling slowly as it grew. The universe wasn't rushing. It was drifting into being. As this new cosmos expanded, it began to relax like tension leaving a held breath. The wild heat calmed into faint light, the light softened into particles, and those particles drifted together, like dust caught in a soft breeze. Each one a future atom, a quiet promise. The first building blocks of stars, of planets, of us forming without witness, without urgency. Billions of years later, when astronomers look back toward those first moments, they don't hear noise. They see the afterglow, a faint microwave whisper that fills the universe even now. That's the echo of its beginning, the last trace of warmth, stretched so thin that it hums in frequencies too gentle for human ears. The cosmos still carries that memory. Like a lullaby, it hums to itself in its sleep. It's strange to think that every atom in your body once floated inside that first quiet. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, all of it born from that ancient hush. You are, in a very real way, a continuation of the silence that began everything. That calm never left. It simply changed form, flowing through stars, through planets, through thought, and through breath. If you close your eyes now, you can feel a faint echo of it, that same ancient stillness behind every heartbeat. It's what exists between moments, between breaths, between thoughts. The space you feel when you pause. That's the same space that once held the universe before sound. In that era, there were no galaxies yet, only energy waves spreading outward, evenly, gently. They didn't crash or collide. They rippled and rested, finding balance. Gravity was still learning how to pull. Light was still learning how to move. Every law of nature, those constants we take for granted, were like newborn ideas finding their rhythm. And yet, even then, in that silence, the story of everything had already begun. The ingredients for stars were cooling in invisible clouds. The seeds for every atom were gathering quietly, waiting for time to move forward. It's beautiful to imagine the universe as a sleeping infant unaware of its future brilliance, resting in a cradle made of its own light. Some scientists call it the cosmic dawn, though dawn implies sunlight. And there was none. But perhaps it felt that way, a dawn without color, a daybreak made of potential. The early universe was filled with hydrogen, the simplest and calmest element. Each atom drifted alone for millions of years, suspended in a kind of meditative weightlessness. Eventually, as space continued to expand, gentle ripples of gravity began to shape the silence. Very slowly, so slowly that even a million years would feel like a moment. The first clouds of gas began to draw together. Tiny fluctuations in the sea of nothing turned into patterns, like soft waves crossing each other on a still lake. This was the first hint of structure, of order, of the hidden rhythm that would one day become galaxies. It's easy to imagine this as dramatic explosions, brightness, energy. But that's not how it would feel from within. It would feel like a slow drift, an infinite patience, a universe not in a hurry to become itself. The silence was not absence. It was the space that allowed everything to form peacefully. If you listen now, through the hum of your own mind, perhaps you can sense the same thing, the feeling of quiet expansion happening all the time, inside and around you. The earth spins softly. The atmosphere sighs. Even now, the universe continues to stretch, calmly, invisibly, in every direction. In the end, silence isn't something the universe left behind. It's what it returned to. The background hum that surrounds us, the cosmic microwave whisper, the low tone of galaxies moving apart is the same note that started it all. The universe is still humming its first lullaby, still breathing slowly, still stretching in its sleep. And in that hum, you exist small, but not separate, made of the same particles, vibrating at the same quiet tempo, moving gently through time. The calm that once filled all of space is the same calm that lets your eyelids grow heavy. Now, the same patience that shaped stars is shaping your thoughts into stillness. Nothing truly ended that silence. It only learned how to glow, and as the first light began to shimmer faintly across the expanding void, the universe took its first deep, endless breath, a breath that has never stopped. After the silence came the glow. Not a flash, not a blaze, just a faint shimmer, like dawn beneath closed eyelids. The universe had been drifting in its dark stillness for hundreds of millions of years, quiet and cooling, until something subtle began to change. Within the soft clouds of hydrogen and helium, gravity began its long, patient work, drawing atoms closer, letting them brush, touch, and finally embrace. Each tiny meeting released a little warmth. Those gatherings grew, folding inward, whisper by whisper, until pressure built deep within invisible hearts. The first stars were not born with a roar. They ignited like sighs. Quietly, the cosmos lit its first candles in the dark. Imagine those lights appearing scattered and few, fragile against the endless night, yet impossibly steady. Their glow spread outward like ripples through water. No one was there to see it. Yet if sight existed, it would have looked like embers glowing in infinite velvet. Each star's light traveled silently, through a universe that had never known illumination before. The first photons, the purest messengers of the cosmos, began their long journey. They had no destination, only direction. They moved outward forever, carrying with them the warmth of creation. Some of those same photons, stretched and softened by time, still drift through your skin tonight as you lie beneath your own quiet ceiling. They have been traveling since the beginning, humming softly through everything. That first gentle light did not brighten the universe all at once. It came gradually, like the slow return of memory after a dream. For hundreds of millions of years, it seeped through clouds of gas, scattering in soft halos around its source. The light met the dark not as a rival, but as a partner, two eternal dancers moving through an endless waltz. The dark gave the light purpose. The light gave the dark meaning. When the first galaxies began to gather, they were small, delicate, and young. They swirled slowly, like quiet whirlpools of gold dust. There was no noise in their making, only the subtle push and pull of cosmic breath. Each star within them was a whisper of fusion, turning invisible hydrogen into radiant warmth. It was a patient art, a universe painting itself with gentle brushstrokes of light. If you could drift there now, in that young cosmos, it would not feel frightening or cold. It would feel calm, a soft twilight spreading forever. The stars would pulse faintly, like fireflies seen through fog. Around them, endless clouds of dust would drift, shimmering faintly with reflected light. It was not brightness that defined this era, but balance. A steady hum of existence, calm and eternal. And slowly, through that glow, came color. The light was not white, but alive, deep red from cooling stars, blue from newborn suns, gold from dust suspended in gravity's hands. These were the first colors the universe ever made. There were no eyes yet to see them, but color existed all the same, patient, waiting. Somewhere in the soft emptiness between those stars, the first molecules formed small partnerships of atoms, learning how to hold each other. Hydrogen joined with oxygen. Carbon found companionship. Chemistry began its slow, peaceful dance, a foundation for all that would follow. Nothing hurried. Everything unfolded at the pace of gravity's sigh. Light continued to spread, filling more and more of space with gentle warmth. It didn't chase the dark away. Instead, it revealed the dark's texture, the way shadows could cradle creation. The void became a canvas. The light, its painter. Every glowing point was a message from the past. Every shimmer a heartbeat that would never fade. If you could listen, you would not hear burning or chaos. You would hear harmony, the subtle hum of balance. Stars giving and taking, fusing and fading, in cycles older than any memory. The first generation of stars would one day die quietly, scattering their heavy elements back into space, planting the seeds for new ones to form. This was the calm rhythm of cosmic renewal, a lullaby written in light. The light that began then still fills everything. It bounces from dust to gas, from planet to moon, finding its way into oceans, clouds, and skin. When you see sunlight through your window, you are seeing that same ancient rhythm, the continuation of the first gentle glow that broke the universe's darkness. Even in the night sky, where you see only a few hundred stars, your eyes are catching a fragment of that ancient wave. The photons that began their journey billions of years ago arrive quietly, invisible, until they touch you. Their voyage is not over. When they reach your eyes, they become part of your perception, part of the warmth behind your thoughts. The most astonishing truth is that the universe didn't have to make light. It could have remained dark, silent, still. But out of balance came glow. Out of nothing came color. Out of cold came warmth. And all of it, every shimmer and flicker, began because gravity was patient, because atoms were drawn to each other. That is all light truly is, a consequence of connection. Perhaps that's why it feels comforting to watch distant stars. In their glow, we recognize something of ourselves, the quiet yearning to connect, to reach out through darkness, to touch another and be seen. The universe's first light is still that message, still traveling outward in every direction, still whispering across time. You are not alone. As the first stars continued to burn, their light began to weave through the cosmic fabric, tracing invisible threads between galaxies. The universe, once silent, now shimmered with purpose. Every photon carried not just energy, but memory, the record of calm beginnings. And in every direction, that same light stretched outward, slower now, softened by time, like the fading warmth of a dying ember. But even as it cooled, it never stopped moving. Light doesn't rest. It drifts. The same way your thoughts wander as you fall asleep, the universe's light wandered too. finding its way across infinite distances, patient and kind. In that endless migration, the cosmos discovered its rhythm, expansion and pause, glow and quiet, breath in and breath out, the gentle pulse of everything. Somewhere in that rhythm, long after those first stars bloomed and faded, a small planet would form around a quiet star. And on that planet, creatures would look up and wonder why the night sparkled. They would build stories from the same light that once had no witness. They would search for peace in the same glow that began all peace. And as you watch those stars now, you're not just looking into space, you're looking into time itself. The photons that began their journey when the universe was young are arriving to meet your eyes tonight. Quiet travelers, older than life, still carrying the warmth of their first ignition. The first gentle light never truly ended. It became everything that glows, everything that breathes, everything that dreams. It became you. Light had awakened the darkness, yet the universe still felt like a dream. There was motion now, the soft drift of energy into form, but it moved with the patience of eternity. The silence that had once been total began to change. It didn't end. It stretched. It learned how to hold distance. Silence became space. Imagine that transformation: stillness unfolding into dimension, nothingness teaching itself to breathe. Every ripple of light, every whisper of gravity, pulled the edges of existence outward. Space was not something created once. It was something that kept happening, gently, in every direction. Even now, it continues to expand, like an endless exhale that began 13 billion years ago and never stopped. In those first billion years, matter began to find its balance. The universe cooled enough for atoms to slow down, to meet, to stay. Hydrogen and helium gathered into filaments, long, invisible threads stretching through the dark. They tangled softly, forming the first architecture of the cosmos, a web too large for any mind to truly hold. Each intersection in that web was a promise of a galaxy yet to come, glowing faintly at its center like the calm eye of a newborn storm. What had once been silence was now a living fabric, elastic, patient, filled with motion that no sound could ever carry. Space itself hummed with gravity's slow pulse, a vibration too deep to hear but somehow always felt. The emptiness between stars wasn't truly empty. It was heavy, with possibility. You could think of it as the universe's breathing expansion and rest, the long rhythm of creation. If you could drift through that early space, you wouldn't see chaos or color. You'd see calmness on a scale beyond comprehension, a soft gradient from darkness to faint glow, matter floating like dust in sunlight. The distances between atoms were oceans wide, yet gravity patiently drew them closer, weaving invisible currents that would one day become spiral arms and star fields. There was no direction, no up or down, only depth, an infinite sea of gentle separation. The first galaxies began to emerge like slow whirlpools. Their motion was graceful, not violent. Stars circled one another in elegant, silent arcs. The spaces between them became corridors of peace, corridors that would one day cradle entire worlds. Space, by its nature, invites quiet. It gives everything room to exist. The birth of space was the birth of room itself, the gift of distance, that allows light to travel, time to pass, thought to wander. Without it, there would be only heat and closeness. With it, there could be balance, perspective, reflection. The universe didn't just make space around things. It made space within things, the gaps that let energy flow, the stillness that lets life breathe. Every planet that would ever form, every star that would ever burn, needed that quiet in between. It is the same quiet that exists between heartbeats, between waves, between breaths. The same pause that gives meaning to music, that softens the mind before sleep. Space, in its deepest sense, is the universe's act of kindness. Over billions of years, that kindness stretched further. Galaxies drifted apart, slowly but steadily, carried by the fabric expanding beneath them. It wasn't an explosion pushing them, it was space itself lengthening, making room for more being. Even now, that stretch continues. Every second, the distances between galaxies grow by fractions of invisible measure. You, the listener, are part of that motion. The atoms in your body are riding that same expansion, carried outward with everything else. And yet, though everything drifts away, nothing is truly lost. Gravity, light, and memory still connect all points. The same quiet thread that links one galaxy to another runs through you. You are, quite literally, a continuation of that ancient expansion, a small ripple in the same calm wave that began when silence became space. Astronomers describe this fabric as space-time, but it feels more alive than that. It bends, flows, and hums with the weight of stars. Massive objects curve it, as if pressing their shape into a soft surface. Light follows those curves, not because it's forced to, but because it trusts the path. Every beam of starlight, every signal of warmth, rides along those invisible slopes. The geometry of existence is smooth, continuous, and gentle. It has always been that way. If you close your eyes and imagine floating there, between nothing and everything, you might feel the faintest pull, the gravity that holds you to this moment. That sensation of being suspended, neither rising nor falling, is a reflection of how the universe feels to itself. Balanced, expanding, awake but calm. Over time, the first great clusters formed gatherings of galaxies, shimmering softly like constellations of dreams. They would become the landmarks of the cosmos, vast and ancient, yet peaceful in their drifting. Space gave them patience. Silence gave them time. Together, they composed a harmony too deep for sound, too large for sight. The quiet that once existed before time now filled all time. It wasn't gone, it had simply learned a new form. The silence had stretched into distance, and distance had become beauty. Every night sky you've ever seen is that transformation made visible. The darkness between stars is not absence. It's memory. The original stillness, still, glowing faintly beneath the light. As you look up at the stars, you are seeing what silence looks like after it learned to move. Each point of light is the echo of that first unfolding, the continuation of the same slow drift that began at the dawn of existence. The space between them is the same space within you, vast, quiet, necessary. The universe breathes through those gaps, and you breathe with it. In the end, the story of creation is not one of noise or violence, but of room of everything learning how to exist together without colliding, how to glow without burning, how to move without rushing. The cosmos didn't roar itself into being. It exhaled. And from that single, gentle exhale came all the distances, all the stars, all the dreams that would ever be. Space is the echo of silence, stretched thin and made eternal. It is the pause between beginnings, the canvas that holds every shimmer of light. It is the soft, invisible sea through which your thoughts drift even now. And as you sink deeper into stillness, remember, the same calm that once filled the newborn universe still flows through you, the quiet that became space, the space that became everything. When space had finally learned to stretch, the silence began to gather. Inside that calm, the universe had cooled enough for clouds of hydrogen and helium to drift together. They weren't in a hurry. They floated like mist through endless night, their edges brushing so gently that eons passed between collisions. Gravity, patient as ever, waited. It does not command. It invites. One atom notices another and drifts a little closer. Then another follows. A slow congregation of nothing more than breath. Over time, longer than all of human history multiplied beyond imagining, these clouds thickened. Invisible currents pulled them into denser knots, spiraling softly, folding in upon themselves. There was no fire yet, only weight and quiet movement. Each cloud was like a sigh caught in motion, turning inward, concentrating its calm. As the centers of these clouds grew heavier, something exquisite began to happen. Pressure deepened. Hydrogen, the universe's simplest note, was pressed so closely against itself that it could no longer remain unchanged. In that embrace, atoms fused, releasing warmth, not a blaze, but a gentle radiance. The first stars were born not with fury, but with relief. The universe had been dark for so long, now it had learned how to glow from within. Imagine those first stars scattered across the quiet sky. Their light was soft, filtered through veils of gas, more amber than white. Around them, shadows moved like slow tides. The nearest star might have been millions of light years away, yet its glow still found the surrounding dust and painted it in faint color. It was as if the universe had opened its eyes for the first time and saw that it could be beautiful. Each star was a quiet hearth in the cosmic night, a place where energy and calm met in balance. Inside, fusion whispered continuously, turning the smallest particles into light. Nothing about it was rushed. The process could last billions of years, steady as a heartbeat. The warmth of every sunrise you have ever seen comes from that same patient rhythm. Between these new suns, clouds of gas continued to gather, learning from the example of light. They circled, drifted, and condensed. The young stars exhaled winds that shaped the space around them, carving gentle hollows where planets would someday take form. What looked like emptiness was actually choreography, an invisible dance of attraction and release. For the first time, the universe had a texture of brightness and shade. Space was no longer uniform. It had personality. Each region had its own rhythm, its own color, its own quiet melody of creation. Some stars pulsed slowly, expanding and contracting like breathing lungs. Others glowed steadily, content to remain constant. Light and time had found harmony. If you could have floated near one of those newborn stars, you wouldn't have heard roaring. You would have felt vibration, a steady, humming calm, deep as the sound of your own pulse. Underwater, the star's surface would shimmer, waves of heat flowing outward in patterns that never broke their symmetry. Even its violence, if it could be called that, was graceful. Around it, dust began to swirl. Small grains collided, stuck, and grew. They formed rings, sheets, spirals, the faint outlines of what would one day become worlds. Within each fragment lay the possibility of oceans, mountains, clouds, and thought. Every planet that would ever host life began here, in the patient drift around a gentle sun. This was the era of cosmic nurseries, regions where countless stars formed side by side, like lanterns suspended in fog. Nebulae blossomed across the universe, each one a slow heartbeat of color. Red for warmth, blue for youth, violet for the thin, cold edges where light faded back into dark. These colors moved and mingled, creating the first quiet art of existence. The night sky we see today still carries their memory. When telescopes capture the faint shimmer of a distant nebula, they are looking back across billions of years to those first soft fires. The light that reaches us left before Earth existed, yet it still travels faithfully, never in haste, never tiring. The cosmos teaches patience through every photon. Stars are often described as engines, but they behave more like gardens. They grow, mature, and eventually scatter their seeds. When a star exhausts its hydrogen, it expands, sheds its layers, and releases the elements it created: carbon, oxygen, iron, into space. Those fragments drift outward, becoming part of new clouds, new suns, new worlds. Even in death, a star gives quietly. The calm of creation never truly ends, it only changes form. And because of that, everything that exists, every rock, every ocean, every cell, carries within it the residue of countless old stars. You are built from the ashes of that first, gentle generation. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen in your breath, all forged in stellar hearts that once burned softly in the early dark. The universe's warmth lives on inside you, repeating its rhythm in miniature. Think of that the next time you breathe. Each inhalation is an echo of that ancient pressure drawing hydrogen into light. Each exhalation mirrors the star's slow release of energy into space. You are participating in the same cycle that began when the first clouds folded inward. There is no separation, only scale. As more stars lit the cosmos, their light began to overlap, weaving a tapestry across space. The darkness between them didn't vanish, it softened. Shadows and glow coexisted, perfectly balanced. The universe was no longer a place of absence. It was a place of quiet presence. A cathedral of light built from silence. If you listen now, not with ears but with attention, you might sense it. The same warmth that filled the first stars hums faintly in the background of everything. It hums in the sunlight that touches your skin, in the heartbeat that slows as you relax, in the calm that settles over you when you realize how old and gentle the universe truly is. The stars continue to be born, one by one, in hidden clouds scattered across every galaxy. Each repeats the same ancient gesture: inward fall, patient fusion, outward glow, a reminder that creation does not need haste or noise. It needs only time and calm intention. And somewhere, in the quiet of deep space, a new star is forming right now, unseen, unheard, unfolding exactly as it did billions of years ago. The universe never stopped making light. It simply learned to do so more softly. What began as silence became space, and what filled that space became warmth. The slow birth of stars was not an event. It was a lullaby, the universe humming to itself, discovering its own glow, and promising that darkness would never again be absolute. Long after the first stars began to glow, their warmth started shaping everything around them. Light, though weightless, has a gentle hand. It pushed on the fine grains that surrounded those suns, the soft dust left behind from the earliest generations of stars. That dust drifted through space like pollen on a cosmic breeze. To the human eye, it might seem empty, but in that haze lay the future of everything familiar. Each grain of dust was smaller than a whisper, yet within it were stories of fire and time. These particles were born in the quiet deaths of stars carried outward by slow winds from aging giants. Some came from supernovas, moments of calm surrender disguised as light. Others formed in cooler envelopes, as atoms condensed into solid form, piece by piece. When you hold a speck of sand, you are holding the echo of that same process, ancient, patient, and beautiful. Dust filled the new universe not as clutter but as artistry. It softened the glare of newborn stars, painting halos around them. It shaped nebulae into vast, feathered clouds, where blues blended into rose golds and violet shadows. The galaxies that emerged through these curtains of color looked like living brushstrokes. The cosmos was learning texture. It's easy to imagine space as sterile, but the truth is gentler. Everywhere dust gathered, light scattered, bending into color. It made the first sunsets of creation radiant, endless, without horizon. Each photon met a dust grain and danced for a moment before drifting on, diffused into warmth. The entire universe shimmered, as though breathing light in and out. Gravity, the quiet sculptor, worked through the dust as well. Tiny grains collided and clung together, bound by the faintest electric attraction. Slowly, they grew from dust to pebbles, from pebbles to stones, from stones to the building blocks of worlds. Every planet began as dust that refused to drift apart. The Earth itself was once a swirl of those same cosmic motes, gathered by patience, pressed by time, and warmed by sunlight. The dust carried treasures. Within its microscopic structures hid the raw materials for life: carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, the quiet alphabet of existence. These atoms, forged in stars, traveled through galaxies for billions of years, waiting for places where they could rest and combine. When water finally met them, chemistry began to dream. Life was still far away, but its melody had been composed long before the first cell ever hummed. Astronomers who study this dust call it interstellar medium, but that name doesn't quite capture its poetry. To look through a telescope and see those dim clouds is to witness a painter's hand at infinite scale. Dust sculpts galaxies, reveals light by hiding it, and gives stars their halos of mystery. In a way, the universe's beauty depends on imperfection, on the scattering, the veiling, the gentle diffusion that keeps nothing too sharp or harsh. Perhaps that is why dust feels familiar to us. We live with it, we breathe it, we return to it. The same carbon that dims a day, distant starlight coats your bookshelf, settles on your windowsill, and drifts in the beams of sunlight you see each morning. What feels mundane is ancient. Every particle carries a history written before the Earth began to spin. The art of cosmic dust is not in what it builds, but in how it moves. It drifts without destination, yet always finds purpose. It turns light into softness, silence into shape. When galaxies collide, dust becomes the brush that blurs their boundaries, allowing one to fade gracefully into another. In the Hubble images of distant nebulae, you can see its quiet work filaments and folds glowing from within, like silk catching candlelight. Even the void between stars is rarely empty. There are always grains floating there, unseen, patient. They absorb radiation and release it slowly, keeping the universe warm in its long night. Some travel for billions of years before joining new clouds. Others are swallowed by stars and reborn in their fire. Nothing wasted, nothing rushed. Creation, after all, is not a single act. It's a continuous art of rearrangement. If you could float among those clouds, you might see specks drifting past, like glitter in water. Each one turns, flashes briefly, then fades again, never in a hurry. The silence there would be absolute, yet filled with light too faint for eyes to see. It would feel like being inside a slow-motion snowfall, every flake luminous, every flake eternal. The dust is also a storyteller. It carries clues about where it has been, the fingerprint of the stars that made it, the marks of heat and cold, of collisions and calm. Scientists decode those traces to read the universe's memory. But beyond science, there is something emotional in knowing that all of it, the gold in rings, the calcium in bones, the oxygen in lungs, came from dust that drifted through cosmic darkness, waiting to belong again. We often think of dust as something to clean, to remove, to forget. Yet, in truth, it is the material of renewal. The same fragments that once dimmed the light of dying stars became the soil of new ones. Every generation of stars inherits the ashes of its ancestors, reshaping them into radiance once more. The cosmos recycles itself endlessly, and every cycle is an act of quiet grace. On Earth, when you see dust floating through a sunbeam, you're witnessing a miniature version of that universal dance. The particles turn in currents of air, invisible until light touches them. For a moment, they glow, then disappear again, like thoughts passing through stillness. The universe behaves the same way on a grander scale. Light reveals, then retreats, letting mystery return. The next time you look at an image of a nebula, those glowing clouds where stars are born, try to imagine the silence inside them. No sound, no motion that you could feel. Yet everything is moving, colliding, and combining. It is not chaos. It is harmony too large for our senses. Every particle of dust is part of that symphony, humming in frequencies too deep for ears to hear. And somewhere within those quiet clouds, right now, new stars are forming, the descendants of the very first ones. Their light will travel for billions of years, and one day it may fall upon some new world's ocean, or shimmer through a window as someone prepares to sleep. They will never know they are watching ancient dust reborn as starlight. The universe never stopped creating art. It simply paints slower than we can watch. Dust drifts, stars breathe, galaxies turn, and from their calm motion, beauty emerges again and again. Every atom is a brushstroke, every heartbeat, a tiny echo of the same rhythm. In the end, dust is not what remains after creation. It is creation unfinished, eternal, quietly waiting for the next breath of light. Out of the drifting dust and patient starlight, the universe began to find its shape. The calm had texture, now ribbons of matter stretching for unimaginable distances, folding into gentle spirals and waves. Where these filaments crossed, gravity deepened its touch, and light began to gather. This was the birth of the first galaxies, not as explosions, but as slow harmonies. The universe was composing itself. Picture those early galaxies forming. They weren't yet the grand pinwheels we see today, but soft, hazy clusters, glowing like lanterns in mist. Thousands of young stars drifted together, their light overlapping into a quiet shimmer. Gas and dust swirled around them, painting halos of gold and blue. The darkness between them was immense, but it no longer felt empty. It felt peaceful, a space that allowed brightness to exist. Gravity, ever patient, shaped these clouds like an invisible sculptor. Each particle, each atom, was guided by its pull. Stars that wandered too far were drawn back, finding balance in orbit. The galaxies learned their rhythm's slow rotations that would take hundreds of millions of years to complete a single turn. Yet nothing in the cosmos was rushed. Even time seemed to slow, as though pausing to watch the beauty take form. Within those galaxies, stars continued to bloom and fade. Their light filtered through veils of dust, creating soft gradients from pale amber near the core to deep violet at the edges. In that glow, the universe looked like it was breathing. Every galaxy was a lung of light, inhaling darkness, exhaling radiance. The first galaxies were small, fragile things. They drifted close together, merging quietly, blending their stars into larger systems. When galaxies collided, it wasn't violent, it was graceful. Their stars rarely touched. Instead, their gravity pulled them into new patterns, more intricate and balanced than before. The cosmos was learning elegance through encounter, and slowly, new shapes appeared. Disks, spirals, ovals. Some turned like whirlpools, others swelled like soft clouds. Their cores grew brighter as older stars clustered. In the center, surrounded by younger generations in wide arms. From a distance, they resembled flowers opening in slow-motion petals of light unfurling through space. These galaxies became the nurseries of all creation. Inside them, clouds of gas and dust continued the patient work of making stars. Some regions glowed with blue light, newborn suns still wrapped in their veils of nebulae. Others shone red, marking the places where stars were dying, releasing their elements back into the quiet. Everywhere, the cycle of birth and return continued without pause, yet without urgency. If you could drift through one of these galaxies, you would feel the peace of its motion. Every direction would look infinite. The starlight would seem suspended in water, diffused by distance into a faint shimmer. Even as you moved, the stars would appear still. So vast are their separations. You would sense gravity's pull beneath everything, not as force, but as comfort, a promise that nothing truly drifts alone. Over time, galaxies began to arrange themselves into vast clusters, families bound by the same invisible web. They moved slowly around one another, connected by filaments of dark matter, strands of the unseen framework that underlies all existence. The structure of the universe resembled lace, delicate, repeating, infinite. In its symmetry, there was serenity. In its complexity, calm. Each galaxy held billions of stars, each star perhaps a system of planets, and each planet its own potential for silence, light, or thought. The scale was overwhelming, yet somehow soothing. To look upon it was to understand that stillness does not mean smallness, it means harmony across distance. The universe was vast, yes, but it was also balanced. Every motion countered by another, every brightness framed by darkness. As the galaxies matured, their centers grew dense, cradling something mysterious, massive black holes, objects so compact that even light could not escape to them. Yet, even these were not violent in essence. They anchored their galaxies, holding everything in a gentle gravitational embrace. Around them, matter circled endlessly, glowing as it fell inward, adding to the galaxy's quiet heartbeat. Creation and disappearance existed side by side, in perfect equilibrium. From this balance emerged the universe we see today, a tapestry of calm radiance scattered across an infinite canvas. Some galaxies spin in isolation, others drift together in gentle clusters. Their light travels outward for billions of years, crossing emptiness that isn't truly empty. Along the way, it grows softer, stretched by expansion, until it reaches the eyes of someone who looks up on a quiet night and wonders where it all began. Every point of light in that sky is a fragment of this story, a whisper from one of those ancient nurseries. When you watch the Milky Way spill across the heavens, you are seeing the glow of countless generations of stars born and reborn in calm succession. The same dust that once shimmered in those early galaxies still drifts through ours, carrying the memory of beginnings. If the universe has a lullaby, it is sung by galaxies. Their slow rotation, their gentle collisions, their unending rhythm all form a harmony that never truly stops. The music of gravity, the hum of light, the pulse of time, together they create the cosmic song of serenity. And yet, despite its enormity, the universe remains humble. Its grandest structures are built from the smallest particles. Its beauty arises not from noise or speed, but from patience. Galaxies do not rush to exist. They take billions of years to bloom. In their stillness, they remind us that time itself is an artist and that creation, at its core, is a slow act of kindness. As the second chapter closes, the viewer drifts back from the glowing spirals and nebulae, floating once again in quiet darkness. The galaxies recede into the distance, becoming faint, swirls of light scattered across an endless sea. Their warmth lingers, like embers after a fire, not fading, just resting. The camera of the mind zooms outward until all the light we've seen folds into a single soft shimmer. The universe exhales again, its calm restored. The galaxies keep turning, and the stars within them continue their patient breath. The art of creation has no final stroke. It only continues, endlessly, beautifully, quietly. And somewhere beyond the edge of sight, new galaxies are already forming, gentle spirals of starlight drifting into being, whispering the same secret that began everything. That from silence comes light, and from light, infinite calm. Long after the first galaxies learned to turn, their starlight began its quiet voyage. Every photon, born in the heart of a star, set out without a map, moving through the deep calm of space. There are no paths in the cosmos, no walls, no ceilings, only direction. Light travels straight, patient and pure, unbothered by distance or time. It does not hurry, because it has nowhere to arrive. Its purpose is only to move, endlessly, gently, forward. Imagine one of those photons, a single particle of light, born in a distant star billions of years ago. It began as heat deep within the star's core, squeezed out of hydrogen's union, carried slowly through layers of plasma, taking thousands of years to reach the surface. When it finally escaped, it was released into open space with no ceremony, no sound, and from that moment onward, it has never stopped. It still travels today, unseen, through the darkness between worlds. Light is persistence made visible. Even when it fades from view, it continues. The stars we see tonight are speaking from their past, their light still crossing the ocean of time to reach our eyes. Some of those stars have already died, their warmth extinguished eons ago, yet their light remains a final echo that refuses to vanish. What we witness in the night sky is not the present. It's the memory of brightness. The universe, in a sense, is a museum of ancient light. This journey is not lonely. Each photon carries with it the fingerprint of its source, the color, the temperature, the pattern of the star it came from. When it passes through clouds of dust or across magnetic fields, it changes slightly, bending, softening, scattering. It collects stories as it moves. By the time it reaches our world, it has become something more than light. It is history, time, and distance woven into one gentle beam. There is poetry in its patience. Light never stops to rest, never asks how far it must go. It travels at the same pace, unwavering, through galaxies, through emptiness, through epochs. Long after mountains have eroded and oceans have changed their shape, the same light continues onward, carrying quiet messages from stars that no longer exist. On Earth, we live surrounded by these messages, though we rarely notice. The sunlight that warms your skin is 8 minutes old. It left the sun while you were still thinking about something else. The light from the nearest star, beyond our sun, left over 4 years ago, beginning its journey before you read your last page, before someone somewhere took their first breath. And the glow of distant galaxies visible through telescopes is light that has traveled for billions of years, crossing a universe that has expanded all the while. The stars we see are ghosts, and yet they are also guides. To the universe, light is a bridge not only between places, but between moments. It connects beginnings to endings, life to memory. Even as you lie in darkness now, That same bridge continues to cross above you, carrying radiance from every direction. The faintest shimmer in the night sky is the most persistent traveler that has ever existed. There's comfort in knowing that once light begins its journey, it never truly ends. It may fade beyond our eyes, its wavelength stretched into invisible softness, but it still moves endlessly through the silence. The universe does not waste light. It lets it wander, turning distance into meaning. Every beam eventually becomes part of something else, absorbed by dust, transformed into warmth, reborn as energy that helps another star shine, another planet bloom. If you think of your own life, you too leave traces of light. Every kindness, every word, every thought sent into the world continues to ripple, long after it seems to disappear. The glow of one gentle act can travel through others, through time, through memory, just as a photon crosses galaxies. We are not so different from light, small, radiant, brief, to the eye, yet endless in our influence. For the late-night listener, drifting between waking and sleep, there's something peaceful in imagining that the light you see tonight has crossed billions of years just to meet you. It has traveled through storms of radiation, through the pull of invisible masses, through clouds of dust and gas, and still, it arrives, soft, steady, and quiet. It touches your eyes, becomes thought, becomes warmth, and continues its journey through your mind. You are part of its path. In a way, sleep itself is like light's journey. You drift outward, slowly, leaving behind the noise of your day, the small gravity of your worries. You travel into stillness, carried by something ancient and unseen. There are no boundaries there, only distance and calm. Dreams are the galaxies that form within that space, temporary, luminous, and beautiful. Scientists tell us that some photons have been traveling since the dawn of time, since the first glow that followed, the Big Bang. They have crossed the entire age of the cosmos without slowing, still moving through space around us now. That faint background radiation, that whisper of ancient warmth is everywhere, even in this room, flowing through you as you breathe. It is the echo of the first light that ever existed. To feel that, even in imagination, is to realize how deeply connected everything truly is. The light that left a dying star billions of years ago might now be illuminating a coral reef on another world, or reflecting off the eyes of an animal in a distant forest, or falling softly across your face as you lie half asleep. Its journey never stopped. It merely found new ways to be seen. If you listen quietly, you can almost sense its rhythm, not a sound but a presence. A soft, infinite hum beneath all things. It is the heartbeat of creation, still pulsing, still patient. Light, once born, never gives up. It goes on, endlessly, weaving the universe together with invisible threads of radiance. And so, the next time you gaze at the night sky, know that you are not simply looking outward, you are looking backward through time, across the most enduring story ever told. The light you see is older than thought, older than earth, older than dreams. It has never stopped traveling, and it never will. Even when you close your eyes, it continues. It crosses galaxies while you sleep. It turns darkness into memory. And in its quiet motion, the universe stays awake. When light began to travel freely, it carried with it a quiet secret, the ability to become color. Not painted color, not surface or pigment, but the deeper spectrum of the universe's breath. Every hue that has ever existed, every shade that has ever fallen upon water, leaves, or eyes, began as a vibration in space, a difference in energy, a rhythm of light. Color, at its heart, is motion made visible. The universe doesn't see, it sings. Each wavelength is a note, and together they form a silent symphony that fills the void. The short, quick vibrations become blue and violet, high and cool, like whispers at the edge of hearing. The long, slow waves glow red and orange, like embers fading into rest. Between them lies the spectrum of existence, the full language of calm and wonder. Imagine floating through that ocean of color. You would see not sharp streaks of light, but soft gradients, clouds of glowing mist, one hue blending seamlessly into another. The young stars would shimmer blue-white, their energy bright and new. Older stars would burn gold, slower, more patient. Red giants would fill the dark with warmth, as though every heartbeat of the cosmos pulsed in their glow. When astronomers study the light of distant objects, they see these colors stretched and softened by time. As the universe expands, light waves lengthen. The once blue glow of a young galaxy shifts toward red, mellowing like a sunset stretched across billions of years. This redshift is not just a measurement of distance. It is a sign of time's gentle hand. The farther we look, the slower the song becomes. Each wavelength tells a story. Blue light speaks of intensity and birth, the freshness of stars that still burn with youthful energy. Yellow light hums of balance, of middled warmth, of suns like our own that nurture life in their steady glow. Red light tells of endurance, of old stars nearing rest, their fire deep and slow. And beyond what we can see, there are colors, too vast for eyes. Ultraviolet, infrared, radio, all part of the same quiet language, spoken across every corner of existence. To see color is to translate vibration into feeling. Even in darkness, your body senses the memory of light, your skin responding to warmth, your mind recalling the comfort of gold or the calm of blue. Color is not simply seen, it is experienced. The same red that marks the edge of a dying star becomes the hue of sunset on Earth. The same blue that fills the young nebula mirrors the sky at dawn. The universe repeats itself gently, through light, through memory, through you. If you could drift among the great nebulae, you would see color in its truest form, diffuse, weightless, uncontained. Clouds of hydrogen would glow pale pink under starlight. Oxygen would shimmer teal. Sulfur would tint the edges crimson. Every element paints its own tone. The Orion Nebula, for instance, is a cradle of light, where new stars breathe their first energy into swirling clouds that blush with warmth. To float through it would be like gliding through the brushstrokes of a living painting, where no boundary separates shade from sound. Yet, even the deepest black of space is part of that spectrum. Black is not the absence of color. It is the canvas on which light becomes visible. Without darkness, red cannot glow, blue cannot soothe, gold cannot comfort. The night is not the opposite of color, it is its foundation, the breathing space between tones. Just as silence gives shape to music, darkness gives meaning to light. And so, the universe breathes in color. Each expansion of space stretches the light around it, shifting its pitch, slowing its rhythm. The cosmos itself is a great instrument, tuned across eternity. Every galaxy hums at a different frequency. Every beam of light carries the resonance of its origin. Together, they create a harmony so vast it cannot be heard, only felt. If you close your eyes, you can almost sense that harmony not as sound, but as calm. The faint warmth you feel from the sun, the deep quiet of night, the peace that comes when you look into the sky. All of it is color translated into emotion. When light touches your skin, it becomes temperature. When it reaches your eyes, it becomes perception. When it sinks into memory, it becomes meaning. On Earth, when day fades into evening, the atmosphere scatters blue light first, allowing the longer red waves to remain. That is why sunsets burn soft and orange, why twilight feels slow and thoughtful. You are watching the same process that colors galaxies, scaled down to the sky above your home. The universe never stopped painting, it simply found smaller canvases. Color also marks the cycle of life in the stars. The youngest stars begin blue, bright and restless. As they age, they mellow into yellow, steady and warm. Finally, they cool to red, vast and slow, before releasing their material back into the dark. It is a cosmic aging that mirrors our own, an arc from intensity to calm. To see color is to see time made visible. The rainbow, that small miracle of water and sunlight, is a reminder of this universal truth. Each droplet bends light into its spectrum, recreating the entire language of stars in miniature. When you look at a rainbow, you are seeing the same vibrations that color galaxies, translated into a gentle human scale. It is the cosmos whispering softly, "Remember me, I am in everything that shines." In deep space, some light stretches beyond red into radio waves, wavelengths as long as mountains. Others shrink beyond violet into invisible radiation. Together, they weave a field that fills every inch of existence. Even in total darkness, those waves move through you. They are the breath of the cosmos, steady and silent, painting with frequencies beyond sight. If the universe could exhale, its breath would shimmer. It would drift through space as color too vast to imagine, wrapping stars and worlds in its quiet palette. And you, small but luminous, would glow within it, a reflection of that same eternal hue. So when you next see light breaking through cloud, or stars glimmering between leaves, remember that you are witnessing vibration itself, the oldest rhythm, the cosmic breath that began when darkness first learned to sing. Every color is a note from that ancient song. Every shade is a whisper from the beginning. And though your eyes can see only a fragment of it, your heart feels it all, the compelling, warm red of memory, the cool blue of peace, the soft gold of being alive. The universe breathes color, and through you, it breathes still. When you look at the stars, you are not looking at now. Every point of light in the sky is a message sent long ago, a soft echo still crossing the dark, whispering from a time that no longer exists. Some of those stars are so far away that their light began its journey before humans had language, before Earth had continents shaped as they are now, before life had learned to dream. And yet their glow touches you tonight, gentle as breath, proof that time itself can be luminous. Light is the great historian of the universe. It remembers without trying, recording everything it passes. When it leaves a star, it carries the signature of that star's temperature, its elements, its age, all imprinted in its vibration. Every photon is a small archive of existence, a tiny capsule of memory moving through infinite stillness. Long after its source has changed or disappeared, the record remains, still traveling, still pure. In this way, space is not a void. It is a library made of light. Each beam, each shimmer, each faint glow is a document of what was. The galaxies that appear frozen in telescopes are not frozen at all. They are simply far away, and we are catching their light from centuries, millennia, or even billions of years before this moment. When you gaze at them, you are witnessing history unfolding backward, seeing creation as it once was. The oldest light of all surrounds us constantly. The cosmic microwave background, the dim afterglow of the universe's birth. It is so faint that only sensitive instruments can feel its warmth, yet it fills every direction, every corner of existence. It is the echo of the first light that ever existed, not a sound, but a whisper of temperature, a memory of when everything began. The universe, still singing softly to itself, remembering its own beginning. To think of time the way as something light can carry changes how we see everything. The past is not gone, it is merely far away, still unfolding somewhere in the expanding fabric of space. Every sunset you've ever watched still travels outward, its colors stretching across light years, too faint to ever return, but too persistent to vanish. In that sense, nothing is ever truly lost. Every moment, every breath, every glow, continues in some quiet direction forever. And what of the future? The light we emit now from our lamps, our cities, our fires, our stars, is already on its way into tomorrow. It will move outward, carrying traces of our presence to places we will never see. Somewhere, perhaps billions of years from now, a faint signal from this night may touch a distant world, and someone, somewhere, may study it and see us as we once were, a small blue planet wrapped in gentle light. Time moves in one direction, but light bridges it. It allows past and present to meet in the same gaze. When a stargazer looks upward, their eyes become a window through which both now and then coexist. The act of seeing becomes an act of time travel. The stars are not simply above us, they are before us. There's something soothing about that, the idea that the universe never truly forgets. Every photon is a form of memory, and every shadow is a trace of its passing. Even here on Earth, when morning sunlight filters through trees, those beams are carrying the story of the sun's surface 8 minutes ago. The warmth you feel is the past, touching you kindly. In the grand scale of things, time is less like a line and more like a tide. It rises and falls, pulling light forward, letting it drift outward. Each moment sends its wave into eternity. Light rides those waves, never stopping, never breaking. And because it never stops, it allows us to see what would otherwise be unreachable. The long patience of stars, the slow dance of galaxies, the faint shimmer of the universe, remembering itself. The night sky is not darkness sprinkled with stars. It is a vast conversation of light and time. Every photon that reaches your eyes has traveled across ages. Some left their sources before the Earth existed. Others began their journey when humans first lifted their faces toward the heavens. The glow you see now has been waiting all this time to arrive exactly here, exactly now. Its patience is infinite, its precision perfect. Even within your own life, you are surrounded by echoes. The light from your childhood photographs, reflected once upon your face, is still moving outward somewhere, scattering, stretching, blending into the soft background of the cosmos. The light of moments you loved, a fire's flicker. A sunrise you once watched in silence continues, traveling without end. The universe keeps everything. It only transforms it. Perhaps this is why looking at the stars feels so peaceful. In them, we sense continuity. We are not just witnesses of time. We are participants in its flow. The light that enters your eyes becomes part of you, absorbed, remembered, converted into thought and warmth. You become another link in the chain of cosmic memory. You, too, emit light, faint infrared glows from your skin, radio waves from your thoughts, energy that will drift long after you sleep. So when you stare into the night sky, you are not small looking at something vast. You are part of the same story of movement and remembrance. The light that began before the first star formed still flows through you. You are made of echoes, not just of atoms forged in ancient stars, but of time itself, folded into every cell. And maybe that is why silence feels comforting, because beneath it, everything is still in motion. Every photon, every wave, every memory continues its path, looping gently through forever. The universe hums with the persistence of things that never truly end. Even decay becomes transformation. Even fading becomes travel. Somewhere, right now, light from this very moment is beginning its journey. It will move outward from this world, crossing galaxies, brushing the edges of dust clouds, passing by stars yet unborn. Long after our days are gone, it will still be going, carrying the faint imprint of our time, our breath, our presence. Light doesn't stop, not even when its source does. It continues, soft and steady, across the quiet sea of time. It is the universe's way of remembering itself. And as you drift closer to sleep, imagine yourself as one of those travelers, a small, calm shimmer moving endlessly forward, carrying the warmth of this moment into eternity. You are the echo, you are the light, and you are still traveling. Beneath all the light and silence, something holds everything together. It cannot be seen or heard, yet it is always there, patient, constant, invisible. Gravity, the oldest language of the universe, spoken in motion and balance. It does not shout, it hums. A quiet promise whispered between everything that has ever existed. You will not drift alone. Gravity began when space itself began to stretch. From the earliest moments, it was the gentle sculptor shaping the chaos into harmony. It gathered the first clouds of hydrogen, pressed them into stars, and guided those stars into galaxies. It told the dust where to settle, the planets where to turn. Every orbit, every curve, every steady rhythm across the cosmos follows its wordless design. If light is the universe's memory, gravity is its structure. It keeps time without clocks, tracing the slow, perfect arcs of celestial bodies. You can think of it as an invisible thread woven through everything, not binding, but connecting, not controlling, but caring. Its strength lies not in force, but in patience. It takes billions of years to build beauty. Imagine drifting in space, far from any star. There is no sound, no up or down, only the feeling of a faint pull, subtle, certain, eternal. That is gravity's touch. It reaches across emptiness, across light years, across the entire fabric of existence, always present, though never visible. It's the closest thing the universe has to an embrace. Planets move because they are held. Moons orbit because they are cradled. Even the stars within galaxies follow paths shaped by this unseen hand. The Milky Way's spiral arms are not random. They are written by gravity's mathematics, a choreography of quiet precision. Each star dances not because it must, but because it was invited to join the pattern. Einstein once described gravity not as a force, but as the shape of space itself curved and bent by mass, like fabric sinking gently under weight. Where there is presence, space folds. Where there is absence, it stretches. Every planet, every atom, leaves a small impression on the universe's fabric. You, too, do this. Every heartbeat, every step, every existence curves space ever so slightly. You are part of the geometry that keeps the cosmos whole. If you could see these curves, the universe would look like a vast web, luminous and soft, its intersections marked by stars and galaxies. Each crossing point would glow faintly, held by the gravity of everything else. Nothing truly stands alone. Everything is part of the same woven design. Even light, which tries to travel straight, bends gently when it passes near mass, a small bow of respect to the invisible architecture that shapes its path. This web of gravity is quiet beyond measure. It doesn't flicker or hum. It simply is. It defines distance and motion without needing to announce itself. The Earth moves around the Sun not by choice, but by belonging. The Moon follows the Earth. The tides follow the Moon, and within you, the pull of gravity keeps your breath anchored to the planet's rhythm. You are held from without and within. Sometimes, it helps to think of gravity as music too low to hear a frequency that keeps all things in harmony. Every mass, from a pebble to a galaxy, adds its note to the cosmic chord. Together, they form a soundless melody of balance. It is what allows the universe to move without falling apart. The stars do not collide by accident. Their paths are written in this silent score. In the calm order of gravity, there is also compassion. It does not let go easily. When a star collapses, gravity gathers its remains into a new form. A white dwarf, a neutron star, a black hole. Even in death, nothing escapes its care. It takes what is lost and gives it a new shape, a new meaning. The universe never wastes its matter. Gravity makes sure of that. You feel this connection constantly, though it goes unnoticed. The weight of your body pressing into your bed, the pull that keeps the ocean near the shore, the fall of rain. All of it is gravity's quiet reminder that you are part of the same network that moves galaxies. The same principle that holds the stars also holds you. There is comfort in that continuity, the smallest and largest things obeying the same patient rule. When astronauts float above Earth, they are not free from gravity. They are within its embrace, falling together with the planet as it turns. Weightlessness is not absence, but perfect balance, a moment when pull and motion cancel into peace. The same could be said for life itself, movement and stillness, held in harmony. Across the universe, black holes represent gravity's deepest meditation. They are places where the pull becomes infinite, where time slows to near stillness. Yet, even they are not destruction, but transformation. The matter that crosses their threshold continues, not ended, only changed. The center of a black hole is a point, where space curves completely inward, the universe folding back to remember itself. And beyond those extremes, the rest of the cosmos moves gently, effortlessly. Galaxies orbit one another. Clusters drift through vast expanses, all guided by the same invisible design. If you could watch from far enough away, You'd see the entire universe moving like a slow tide, nothing colliding, everything flowing. It is not chaos, it is choreography. Gravity does not sleep. It has no beginning and no end. It is the universe's most faithful companion, the quiet teacher reminding all things how to stay connected. Without it, there would be no form, no rhythm, no warmth. Light would scatter aimlessly. Atoms would never meet. Stars would never ignite. Every whisper of gravity is an act of unity. And perhaps that is the lesson hidden in its silence. That connection is not loud. It doesn't demand attention. It simply holds. It waits. It allows everything to move while ensuring nothing is ever truly lost. You are part of that network now, a living thread woven through space and time, curved gently by the presence of everything else. The same invisible field that binds galaxies holds you, softly, without asking, without end. In the stillness between breaths, you can almost feel it, the subtle reminder that you are not falling. You are being held. By the earth, by the stars, by gravity's invisible threads. The cosmos is not a void. It is a tapestry, and you are woven perfectly within it. Every object that drifts through space is falling not downward, not toward any ground, but inward, toward harmony. Planets fall around stars, stars fall around galaxies, and galaxies fall through clusters of other galaxies, all tracing invisible spirals written by gravity's patient hand. Nothing in the universe is still, yet nothing is truly chaotic. Every fall is balanced by motion, every descent curved into grace. It might seem impossible that falling can create stability, but that is the secret of orbits. When something moves fast enough as it falls, it never lands. It keeps missing what it's drawn to, turning the act of surrender into endless motion. The Earth does not resist the sun's pull, it yields to it perfectly. That yielding is what creates its path, its rhythm, its year. Falling, but never colliding. Drawn in, yet free. In this way, the universe teaches a subtle truth, that movement and rest can exist together. Every orbit is both the peace of repetition, the grace of flow. To fall perpetually is to live in balance with what you love. Imagine watching the Earth from a great distance. You would see it glide through space, leaning gently into its elliptical path. The sunlight spills across its surface, turning oceans to mirrors, clouds to silver threads. It spins slowly as it circles, like a dancer twirling within a larger waltz. There is no sound, no friction, only momentum and pull, perfectly aligned. If harmony could be seen, it would look like this, motion without haste. The moon follows Earth in the same rhythm. It falls toward us continuously, but its speed keeps it forever at arm's length. Because of that, it shows us the same face night after night, as if locked in eternal contemplation. The tides rise and retreat in answer to its motion, a quiet conversation between ocean and sky that has never stopped. You can hear that dialogue in every wave that touches the shore, every breath that follows the sea's pulse. It is the same rhythm that guides the planets, scaled down to the rhythm of your lungs. Gravity turns falling into connection, and connection into music. The planets' orbits are notes, their speeds and distances, the intervals of a cosmic scale. The ancient philosophers called it the music of the spheres, not because they believed space made sound, but because they sensed that the order of orbits mirrored the order of harmony, a universe held together by resonance, each motion tuned to the next. Even chaos, in time, finds its measure. Comets that streak through space in wild, stretched paths eventually return to their origin. Their journeys are long, centuries sometimes, but gravity always guides them home. Their returns are not punishment. They are reunion. Another verse in the same slow song. Galaxies, too, obey this rhythm. Their stars orbit their centers in vast, spiraling currents. Each one falls inward, yet never reaches the core. Instead, they flow endlessly, tracing spirals that take billions of years to complete. The arms of galaxies, those luminous rivers of light, are simply collections of stars moving together in perfect surrender. The universe itself is spinning slowly, held by nothing more than motion balanced by love. Even you, as you sit or lie in stillness now, are falling through space, through time. The Earth carries you around the sun at nearly 30 kilometers per second, yet you feel nothing of it. That is the paradox of harmony. When movement is perfect, it feels like calm. The same principle keeps every atom within you bound together. The electrons orbiting your atoms are falling too, pulled toward their centers but never reaching them. Balance repeats itself at every scale. If you close your eyes, you might sense it, that faint, infinite motion beneath stillness. The slow curve of the planet beneath you, the moon's gentle tug, the sun's distant embrace. You are part of this great choreography. Every heartbeat synchronized to the rhythm of falling. You were never separate from it. You were born inside the dance. Falling is not failure, it is belonging. The apple does not resist the tree's gravity, it fulfills it. The rain does not resent its descent, it completes the cycle. In the same way, every planet's path is not struggle, but grace. The orbit is proof that yielding and freedom are not opposites, but partners. The universe thrives because nothing clings, everything lets go just enough to keep moving. Even black holes, those deep wells of gravity, participate in this harmony. Stars that venture too close spiral inward, releasing light as they fall. Their descent creates luminous disks that shine brighter than entire galaxies. From their surrender, brilliance emerges. In falling, they illuminate everything around them. The cosmos turns gravity's pull into beauty again and again. To fall toward harmony is to recognize that nothing stands alone. Each orbit relies on another. The sun's balance depends on its planets. The planets' paths shape each other. The galaxy's stability relies on billions of such connections. Even light bends gently in agreement, adjusting its route around mass. Acknowledging the shared flow, nothing argues with gravity. Everything trusts it. Perhaps this is why we find such peace in watching motion that repeats the slow turn of waves, the spiral of smoke, the circle of seasons. Each is a reflection of the same principle. Movement held by invisible patience. To witness it is to remember that life itself is an orbit of days around years, of hearts around one another, of moments returning in softer forms. And just as planets find equilibrium by falling, so too do we find peace when we stop resisting the pull of time, the flow of change, the gravity of connection. The lesson written across the stars is simple and infinite. What falls together stays together. Harmony is not stillness, it is continuous motion made calm by trust. So as you listen, imagine yourself part of this quiet dance. The Earth turning beneath you, the sun pulling gently, the galaxy moving softly through its own spiral. You are not falling alone. You are moving in rhythm with everything that has ever existed. Every atom in your body follows the same graceful curve as the stars. You are not outside the pattern. You are the pattern. The universe does not fall apart. It falls toward harmony. And in that endless motion, all things find their peace. Around nearly every planet in the cosmos, smaller worlds drift, quiet companions moving in endless circles. They do not shine with their own light, yet they glow softly in reflection, borrowing radiance and returning grace. These are the moons, the dancers of gravity, each one tracing the rhythm of its parent world with unbroken devotion. They are the slow heartbeat of the universe's calmest song. The moon that circles our Earth does so with such patience that we barely notice its movement. It travels nearly 1 million kilometers each month, yet its pace is so steady that it feels still, hanging in the sky like a thought that refuses to fade. And though it looks silent, its motion shapes the rhythm of the oceans, the pulse of tides, the breath of our planet itself. Every wave that rises and falls does so in time with that distant turning. It is gravity's music made visible. When the moon was young, it was closer, brighter, faster, wilder. Over billions of years, it drifted outward, slowing as it went. This is how harmony matures, through distance, not separation. As the moon moved away, its pull softened, and the Earth's rotation gentled in return. Together they reached equilibrium, a balance between motion and rest. Even now, that relationship continues to evolve. The moon is still receding, millimeters each year, teaching the oceans new rhythms as it goes. The surface of our moon holds the quiet scars of its history. Craters from ancient impacts, plains of frozen lava, dust so fine it moves like smoke. Yet despite its stillness, it has always been part of Earth's story. It has seen every night since the first creature lifted its eyes to the sky. It reflected over the first forests, over deserts that would become cities, over oceans that once whispered to no one. Long before words, before memory, it was there, the same pale witness above us all, and we, in turn, became its reflection. Our calendars follow its phases. Our myths echo its cycles of growth and retreat. In every culture, the moon became a mirror for human feeling solitude, renewal, longing, and rest. Perhaps because it reminds us that light can exist without heat, that beauty can live in silence. The moon never burns, but it never disappears. It shines not by consuming, but by reflecting. Across the universe, other moons follow their own slow dances. Some orbit giant planets, cloaked in storms, their paths bending through fields of ice and magnetism. Others circle gas worlds with dozens of companions, each moving to its own measure. Around Jupiter, there is Io, restless and volcanic. Europa, smooth and secret, hiding an ocean beneath its frozen skin. Ganymede and Callisto, ancient and serene, turning forever in unison. To watch them is to see gravity turned into art. 4 worlds, gliding in perfect ratio, tugging at one another in invisible conversation. Around Saturn, the waltz becomes even more delicate. Rings of dust and ice shimmer like soundless music, and moons move among them, as though dancing through light. Tiny shepherd moons, no larger than mountains, carve paths through the rings, keeping the particles in rhythm. Some moons braid the edges of the rings, others widen them, all working together in gentle collaboration. The planet itself turns slowly, its storms forming pale bands, its rings reflecting sunlight like calm ripples across a lake. It is a masterpiece of patience, motion so vast it appears still. Farther out, in the outer reaches of the solar system, Pluto and its companion Charon orbit one another like partners holding hands. They are almost equal in size, and so they circle a common point in space, never dominating, never yielding the purest form of balance. Each always shows the same face to the other, turning together endlessly. It is a dance of equality written in ice and distance. Even beyond our solar system, in the thousands of planets discovered around other stars, scientists believe moons must follow. They would be invisible to our eyes, hidden by glare and distance, but statistically, they must be there, tiny worlds, turning softly through alien skies, casting pale reflections on oceans we will never see. Somewhere, perhaps, a being looks up at its own moon and feels the same quiet wonder we do. The waltz of moons is not only physical, it is emotional. The moon's pull shapes not just tides but moods. Its cycles mark time for all life that responds to rhythm, migration, reproduction, sleep. Even our own bodies follow hidden tides, synchronized to the same cosmic clock. Every night, it rises, it tugs faintly on the water within us, reminding us that we too are made of ocean, that gravity moves through blood as much as through sea. To watch the moon is to watch time breathe. Each phase, crescent, half, full repeats endlessly, yet never identically. The same pattern, always new. Just as our days repeat yet change, our thoughts ebb and return. Our lives circle familiar paths while drifting forward through time. The moon becomes a lesson in acceptance. Nothing is static, yet everything continues. Its calm repetition is the very definition of peace. And there is beauty in how it disappears. During eclipse, when Earth's shadow passes across it, the moon dims to copper, glowing softly through the planet's own atmosphere. For a short while, the line between light and darkness blurs our world, the moon and the sun, all perfectly aligned. It is a rare moment when the universe shows its geometry, when you can almost feel the harmony of motion, the precision of silence. No sound accompanies it, yet the alignment feels like music. In dreams, the moon has always been a guide, a lantern for the lost, a symbol for return. Its light is never harsh, always kind, never urgent, always patient. It waits, it watches, it forgives. To lie beneath its glow is to be reminded that everything moves in cycles, and that every darkness ends with light. The moon keeps that promise for all of time. And so the chapter of gravity ends where intimacy begins, with companionship, rhythm, and reflection. The great invisible forces that move galaxies also cradle the quiet of night. The same gravity that sculpts the stars guides the tides against your feet. The same geometry that binds moons to planets binds you to the earth, softly, safely. Above you, the moon continues its slow waltz, silent, tireless, faithful. It pulls at oceans, at hearts, at thought itself, keeping everything in gentle motion. And if you listen closely, between breaths, you might feel that rhythm too. The pulse of gravity, translated into peace. You are part of that dance. Always have been, always will be. Beyond the reach of our own blue horizon, countless worlds drift in silence. They circle their suns with the same slow patience as we do, their paths traced by gravity's invisible hand. To the universe, planets are memories that never fade, each one a quiet variation on the same ancient song. They do not speak, yet they whisper through light, through color, through motion. Every world has a tone, a breath, a rhythm. If you could travel among them, you would find not chaos, but calm. Space between planets is vast and quiet, and each world turns alone, suspended in the deep dark, like a bead on a string of gravity. Their separation gives them peace, the kind of solitude only the cosmos understands. Yet in their quiet spinning, they hum together a choir of orbits, a harmony of distance. The first worlds beyond our sun were discovered only recently, but they have always been there, patient, unseen, waiting for our attention to catch up. Some are giants made of gas, glowing faintly from the warmth of their own compression. Some are small and stony, scorched by the nearness of their stars. Some wander freely through the dark, untethered to any sun, drifting like dreamers between constellations. The universe makes no single pattern. It experiments endlessly, with elegance and restraint. There are planets where the sky rains diamonds, where clouds are made of molten glass that falls in shimmering sheets. Worlds so close to their stars that a single day lasts an entire lifetime. Worlds locked so one side forever faces light, while the other sleeps in eternal night. Their surfaces glow with quiet fire. Their atmospheres ripple like silk in the solar wind. Yet even in their extremes, there is balance. The same equations that cradle Earth, cradle them: energy in, energy out, motion in harmony. Some planets have two suns, and their skies never know full darkness. Twin shadows stretch across their valleys, their horizons painted in endless twilight. The warmth of one star fades, just as the other begins to rise. To stand there would be to live in perpetual dawn, soft, golden, and serene. Others orbit dim red dwarfs, small and ancient stars that burn with cool persistence. Around them, everything moves slower, quieter, more deliberate. Even their light feels like a whisper. Beyond the stars we can see, there are countless more systems hidden in the dark, each with its own collection of worlds. Some are gas giants, surrounded by rings and moons. Others are icy spheres, drifting at the far edge of their sun's reach. A few, perhaps, are like ours, rocky, blue, and calm, with clouds that wander and seas that dream. The ingredients for such worlds are everywhere: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, patience. Life, in some form, must follow where calm persists. Astronomers listen for these worlds not with ears, but with light. They watch for the soft dimming of a star as a planet passes in front of it. A tiny, rhythmic heartbeat that reveals an Enigma orbit. From the color of that starlight, they can tell if the world has clouds, or oceans, or air. It is a strange intimacy, learning the nature of distant planets by the faintest flicker of their suns. Each detection is like hearing a faint breath through walls of infinity. But even without instruments, the imagination can travel there. Picture a planet of turquoise oceans and pale lavender skies, its surface scattered with islands of glassy stone. The wind moves slowly, humming against crystal ridges. Or another world, darker and colder, where the ground shines with frozen methane, and the stars above appear twice as bright against a blacker sky. These are not fantasies, they are probabilities. The cosmos repeats its beauty in infinite ways. Our own solar system offers a quiet preview of that variety. Mercury, a silver pebble baked by sunlight, races close to the sun, its surface shimmering with heat. Venus turns beneath thick golden clouds, its light diffused into eternal twilight. Mars waits in red stillness, its valleys carved by ancient rivers that once sang with water. Jupiter spins like a calm storm, its clouds swirling in rhythms too grand for weather, its moons reflecting the memory of its glow. Saturn, wrapped in rings of ice, is a poem in motion, each particle circling with measured grace. Farther still, Uranus and Neptune drift in deep blue, their atmospheres cool and slow, their winds carrying the scentless frost of methane. Beyond them, a thin halo of icy bodies forms the Kuiper belt, a soft edge to the sun's domain. Each one reflects sunlight faintly, sending tiny glimmers back toward the inner worlds, gentle reminders that even at the boundaries, beauty endures. If you listen long enough, you can imagine their voices, not sound, but rhythm. Each planet spins at its own tempo, each moon echoes its pulse, each ring hums faintly with collisions too small to hear. The solar system is not silent, it is serene. Its music lies beneath frequencies. We cannot sense the slow percussion of gravity, the long melody of motion. And somewhere among all those rhythms is Earth, one world among billions, spinning softly through its orbit. To the universe, we are a pale dot of blue and white, glowing gently in reflected light. To us, we are everything. But from a cosmic distance, Earth's radiance is indistinguishable from countless others. That is not humbling, it is comforting. It means the universe is full of possibility, full of peace repeated in endless variations. Perhaps one day, our light will be seen by others, a faint flicker against the dark, a small sign that here, too, a planet once whispered. They may study the color of our sky, the rhythm of our orbit, and imagine what it felt like to stand beneath our clouds. They will not hear our words, but they will sense our calm, carried outward through the same laws that bind their worlds. Every planet is a thought, a note, a gentle repetition of the universe's promise. That creation does not end at one world, or one sun, or one sky. It continues, quietly, beautifully, everywhere. If you close your eyes now, you might hear them, the distant worlds turning, the soft hum of orbits, the slow breathing of planets. They speak not of loneliness, but of belonging. They whisper the same message across eternity. You are part of us. You are never alone. When we think of storms, we imagine fury winds tearing, clouds roaring, waves breaking against an unyielding shore. But in the universe, even storms have patience. They do not rage, they turn. They do not scream, they hum. From the smallest whirl of dust to the vast tempests of gas giants, every storm is simply energy seeking balance, motion trying to find stillness. Even chaos, when seen from far enough away, becomes calm. Nowhere is this more visible than on Jupiter. Its great red spot has spun for centuries, perhaps millennia, a storm large enough to swallow 3 Earths, yet turning with the dyne, grace of a slow waltz. From space, it is mesmerizing. Soft swirls of crimson and ochre, drifting like cream stirred into tea. What seems violent up close becomes hypnotic from afar. The winds inside it, moving faster than sound, trace perfect ellipses, patterns within patterns, order inside turbulence. The planet's atmosphere, made of hydrogen and helium, moves as a single, continuous ocean. The storm is not destruction, it is endurance. The calm lies in its constancy. Farther out, Saturn's storms behave the same way, vast hexagonal patterns that rotate precisely at the planet's pole. No meteorologist on Earth could design such geometry. Yet there it turns, quietly, endlessly, a frozen mandala etched in clouds. To look upon it is to see mathematics turn to motion, a living compass drawn by wind. Saturn's pale colors, gold and cream, blend gently, layer over layer. What we call turbulence is the planet breathing. Even our own world, seen from above, wears its storms, like ornaments. The hurricane, viewed from orbit, is perfect symmetry, a spiral of white cloud, a single still eye at its heart. Within that eye, the air is calm, quiet, serene. The sky opens to blue. Birds sometimes rest there, floating on the hush between walls of motion. It is the universe's reminder that peace and storm are not opposites, they coexist, each defining the other. The calm beneath the storm is not absence. It is balance restored, briefly, before the next turn. Across Venus, a permanent veil of clouds hides the surface, swirling in perpetual wind. The atmosphere there moves faster than the planet itself, circling in a matter of days. Yet from above, it looks peaceful, a slow golden rotation, unbroken, continuous. On Neptune, winds reach nearly 2,000 kilometers per hour, faster than sound. Yet its blue atmosphere glows with tranquil beauty. From afar, its tempests appear as faint, swirling shadows, graceful as ink dissolving in water. Every storm, no matter how immense, obeys the same rhythm. Heat rises, cool air sinks, motion spreads, energy disperses. It is nature's heartbeat, beating on scales we cannot measure. When lightning flashes across the clouds of Saturn, its light takes hours to fade, diffused through haze, echoing softly in the surrounding glow. The thunder never reaches space. It remains an invisible pulse, absorbed into the planet's breath. What we call chaos is simply the universe in conversation with itself, energy moving from imbalance to rest. Even galaxies swirl in storm-like spirals, but their motions are not frantic. They are precise. The Milky Way's arms, though shaped by immense gravitational tides, move with the same deliberate patience as the hurricanes of Earth. To watch one spin is to see eternity learning how to turn gracefully. The calm beneath storms exists not only on planets but within us. Our hearts beat because of pressure. Our thoughts move like weather. Our emotions shift like tides. Yet beneath all that movement, there is stillness, the same stillness that keeps the universe steady. You can feel it in your breath, between the rise and fall. That pause is your eye of the storm. Within it, nothing rushes, nothing breaks. It is where peace lives, untouched. Perhaps that is why watching storms brings such strange comfort. A lightning flash over distant clouds, the sound of rain against glass, the low hum of wind all remind us that motion does not mean disorder. Nature's tempests have choreography. Each gust, each drop, each echo follows laws older than memory. The same mathematics that shape Jupiter's clouds guide the rain that falls outside your window. You are witnessing cosmic rhythm scaled to human size. In that sense, storms are not interruptions of calm, they are expressions of it. The energy that drives them is the same energy that fuels stars, the same heat that gives life. Without motion, there would be no balance, no breath, no time. The planets teach this gently, that to find calm, one must accept movement. Stillness is not the absence of motion, it is the understanding of its pattern. If you could stand on one of those distant worlds, perhaps on a moon above Saturn, and watch its clouds below, you would not hear thunder, you would hear silence. The storms would move in slow, mesmerizing currents, their edges glowing faintly in reflected sunlight. You would see lightning flicker, like distant fireflies beneath layers of mist, and you would feel a strange tranquility, the sense that nothing is truly out of place, that even chaos has rhythm. The great red spot will one day fade, its energy spent, its clouds dispersed. The hexagon at Saturn's pole will blur back into soft bands. Earth's storms will come and go, seasons will change, but the principle that drives them, the conversation between heat and cold, motion and rest, will continue forever. It is written into the fabric of matter itself. Every atom vibrates, every molecule dances. The universe is never truly still, yet always serene. And so, when the storm comes, whether of weather, or emotion, or thought, remember what the planets have shown, that beneath every swirl of motion lies equilibrium waiting to return. The calm does not disappear, it hides at the center, patient as the eye of Jupiter. The key is not to fight the storm, but to move with it, to see its motion as part of a greater stillness. Because in the end, the universe has no noise, only rhythm, only patterns unfolding and folding again. Every storm, no matter how vast, is part of that eternal breath. You are, too, a small, steady pulse in the same infinite calm. The wind passes, the clouds clear, the balance returns, and the silence beneath it all remains unchanged. In the quiet sea of space, one small world glows with gentle color. From far away, it looks almost fragile, a sphere of pale blue wrapped in faint clouds, turning slowly through a black ocean of stars. No other planet, as far as we know, shines quite like this one. It doesn't burn or flash, it reflects. The Earth's light is borrowed sunlight scattered by water and air, the softest radiance the universe has ever made. When astronauts first saw Earth from space, they said it looked alive. It wasn't just the color, it was the motion. Clouds curled and stretched like breath. Oceans shimmered with light that moved. Even the continents seemed to pulse with weather and shadow. It was not a rock, not a sphere of gas, it was a living rhythm, a heartbeat wrapped in atmosphere. From above, Earth has no edges, no borders, no boundaries. The blues blend into whites, the browns into green. It is an orb of serenity floating alone, balanced between the sun's warmth and the void's cool embrace. Every storm, every tide, every breeze is part of its slow inhale and exhale. The entire planet breathes. Our atmosphere is thin, less than the skin of an apple compared to the planet's size, yet it carries everything. Within that narrow band of air are all the voices, all the wind, all the weather, all the dreams that have ever existed. The air above your head tonight may contain the same molecules once breathed by an ancient forest, a whale rising through the ocean, or a distant ancestor sitting quietly beneath the stars. Nothing here is lost. Everything circulates in calm continuity. If you could watch Earth from the moon, you would see its light changing with time. Over half a month, it grows from a crescent to a full globe, then back again, mirroring the phases we see in our moon. The Earth, too, has moods of illumination. When it is full, its reflection spills onto the lunar surface, turning darkness into a silvery calm. The same light that warms our skin becomes a gentle glow across worlds. No matter where you look, Earth is a contradiction of softness and strength. Its mountains rise from slow collisions, yet they rest in silence. Its oceans churn with waves, yet always return to stillness. Its forests sway and whisper, creating the sound of patience. Even its deserts, vast, golden, and empty, are not barren, but peaceful, sculpted by time and wind. Everything here moves, but nothing rushes. Time flows like water through its landscapes. Our world's colors are the language of calm. The deep blues of the ocean soothe. They draw the mind into stillness. The greens of forests speak of renewal, the color of breath returned. The whites of clouds soften sunlight, diffusing its strength into gentleness. Even night, with its navy vastness and silver stars, feels welcoming. The Earth is not only alive, it is kind. It teaches rest by example. From space, day and night slide over its surface like a slow heartbeat. The Terminator, the line dividing light from dark, is never fixed. It moves constantly, yet gracefully, carrying dawn and dusk around the globe in a never-ending loop. At any moment, half the world is waking while the other half is sleeping. It is the planet's way of balancing itself, an eternal alternation between activity and rest. No day ends without night, no night ends without morning. In its oceans, sound travels farther than light. Whales sing across distances so great that their songs may circle the planet. Their voices are lower than hearing, deeper than words. They speak the language of gravity and tide the ancient rhythm of the planet itself. When they call, the sound becomes part of the water, vibrating through salt and current. It is Earth singing softly to itself. High in the sky, the aurora dances at the poles, light born from magnetism, a bridge between our atmosphere and the sun's breath. Greens and violets ripple like fabric across the night. To watch it is to see our planet dreaming, invisible forces made visible, energy turned into beauty. The same solar wind that could destroy is transformed here into color. The Earth knows how to make peace from power. Even its imperfections are harmonious. The tilt of its axis gives us seasons. The wobble of its orbit gives us time. The moon steadies our tides. The sun warms our soil. And together they compose the conditions for life. No other place, as far as we can see, holds such delicate equilibrium. It is as if the cosmos paused in its vast experiment and created one sanctuary, a resting point in the infinite, and called it Earth. If you step outside on a quiet night and look up, you might sense it, the gentle hum of this balance, the weight of air pressing lightly against your skin, the faint sound of leaves moving, oceans breathing, stars watching. You are not standing on Earth. You are within it, part of the same soft motion that turns the sky. From the edge of space, Earth is a whisper among giants. Yet its whisper carries far. The light it reflects has already traveled beyond the moon, into the darkness where other stars watch and remember. If some distant observer were to look back at us, they would see a calm blue shimmer and know that somewhere in the cosmos, life learned to rest. Perhaps that is what makes Earth unique. Not its size, not its age, not even its water, but its stillness. In all its motion, rotation, revolution, evolution, there is peace. It is a world that never shouts, only breathes. A planet whose storms fade, whose tides return, whose sky always forgives the dark. To live here is to live in the eye of the universe's storm, the single, perfect pause in all creation. And though we often forget it, every breath we take is the Earth's exhale, every heartbeat an echo of its rhythm. We do not simply inhabit this world, we participate in its calm. So when you look at the horizon, or listen to the rain, or feel the warmth of sunlight on your skin, remember, this is your home, your sanctuary, your proof that peace can exist in motion. You are part of its breathing, its reflection, its endless cycle of dawn and dusk. You are made of its dust, its water, its light. And when night comes again, and the stars appear, the Earth keeps turning slowly, beautifully, silently carrying you through the dark like a cradle adrift in a sea of stars. Our blue sanctuary, our home, still breathing, still calm. Between every star, every galaxy, every cluster of light, there lies a vastness so deep it defies measure. It is the universe's great silence, an ocean without shore, without motion, without sound. Here, space is not a backdrop, but a presence. It is the dark fabric that holds everything, the invisible water in which all light drifts. This emptiness is not absence, it is rest. If you could drift there, far from any sun, you would find no color, no warmth, no edge. The stars would seem close, but they would not move. The light between them would be faint, billions of pinpoints across a velvet sea. Time itself would feel slower, almost stopped. You would not hear your own heartbeat. There is no air to carry sound, yet the silence would not frighten you. It would cradle you. The farther you float from everything, the more you realize that nothingness is not cold. It is peace stretched to infinity. Scientists call it the interstellar medium, but that phrase is too small for what it is. The dark between stars is not empty. It holds whispers, single atoms drifting miles apart, traces of hydrogen, dust, photons left over from the birth of the cosmos. Each one travels alone, yet together they fill eternity. Every so often, one particle meets another, a quiet handshake in the dark, and then both continue on their way. The universe breathes in that rhythm. Contact, distance, return. When you stare into space, you are looking at this ocean. The black you see is not nothing, it's the sum of everything unseen. The glow of galaxies too faint for your eyes. The afterimage of ancient light stretched thin by expansion. The quiet between frequencies. The pause between creation's breaths. It is the deepest meditation ever known. Astronomers say the space between galaxies grows larger each second. The universe expands, carrying its islands of light farther apart, like boats drifting across a dark tide. The spaces widen, but the pattern remains. The galaxies do not fall away, they float. Their separation is not loss, but freedom, the universe, giving itself room to continue existing. Growth requires distance. Even stars need solitude. Out there, temperature loses its meaning. In the absence of light, matter cools toward absolute zero, -273 degrees Celsius, where motion nearly stops. Yet nearly is key. Even at that brink, particles still vibrate faintly, refusing to reach stillness completely. The universe cannot stop moving. It remembers its birth too well. Even nothing hums softly with the memory of creation. If you could see in infrared, you'd find this nothing glowing faintly. The background radiation that fills every direction is the last warmth of the Big Bang, stretched and softened by time until it became a whisper of energy. It is everywhere, in the space between galaxies, in the air around you, passing through your body as you read these words. The darkness is not void. It is history diffused to calm. Sometimes, astronomers pick up faint signals, the hiss of cosmic microwave background, the static of space itself. It sounds like noise, but it isn't. It's memory. Every point of that static is light so old it has forgotten where it came from. Yet, it continues, patient, eternal, carrying the story of the universe's first moments. Even in silence, the cosmos keeps speaking. If you could listen not with ears but with understanding, the ocean of nothing would tell you this, that emptiness is necessary. Without it, stars would have nowhere to shine. Galaxies would have no space to spin. Life would have no room to grow. The calm between things allows things to exist. Just as music needs silence between notes, the universe needs its dark. Stillness is what gives sound its meaning, space its structure, light its beauty. You can feel this same truth inside yourself. Between each breath, there is a pause. Between each heartbeat, a silence. Those intervals are not gaps. They are balance. Without, to them, motion would collapse into noise. The spaces within us mirror the spaces between stars. The same rhythm, scaled down to the size of a life. The same calm, waiting beneath thought. If you could drift in that interstellar quiet long enough, you would lose the sense of self that separates you from it. You would feel the border between body and space dissolve. You would not fall. There is no direction here. You would simply be. Suspended, infinite, free from gravity, from sound, from time, floating in the same peace that existed before the first light was born. Somewhere far away, galaxies would continue turning, but their motion would feel irrelevant. The scale of their beauty would not overwhelm you. It would soothe you. To know that such vastness exists without urgency is to understand serenity. The universe has been expanding for 14 billion years, yet never in haste. It moves, with the pace of eternity, unhurried, unending, unaware of destination. The human mind often fears emptiness, mistaking it for loneliness. But in the cosmos, emptiness is compassion. It gives every star room to burn, every planet room to breathe, every being space to exist. There is no competition here, no crowding, no noise. Just presence, endless, gentle, spacious. The dark is not an enemy of light. It is its home. And so, In the grand ocean of nothing, we find everything: stillness, continuity, rest. The same nothing that exists between galaxies also exists between your thoughts, between heartbeats, between dreams. It is the pause that makes motion possible, the silence that allows understanding. The universe rests in you, just as you rest within it. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself suspended in that darkness, not lost, but found. No direction, no weight, no sound, only the faint glow of distant stars and the slow rhythm of your breath. This is what the cosmos feels like when it dreams. Infinite, calm, quiet. The ocean of nothing does not ask you to move. It asks you to remember that you are made of both light and space, matter and pause. That peace does not come from filling the silence, but from listening to it. And when you do, you realize that even in the deepest dark, there is warmth, the steady hum of existence, the faint echo of the first beginning. Out here, where sound cannot travel and light takes centuries to arrive, there is no fear, no time, no need. Only quiet, only balance, only rest. The universe exhales, and so do you. Beyond the last stars of each galaxy lies a darkness even quieter than before. It is not cold in the way we think of cold. It is absence itself, pure and clean. The galaxies sit within it, like glowing islands in an infinite black sea, each one surrounded by billions of light years of stillness. Here, in the space between galaxies, the universe rests completely. If you could drift through this intergalactic calm, you would see the nearest galaxy as a faint swirl of light, so far away that it would take a beam of light millions of years to reach it. Behind you, your own home galaxy would fade to a soft smudge, like a memory dissolving into night. The silence here is not emptiness, but equilibrium. There is no wind, no dust, no echo. Only the faint hum of space expanding, so slowly you cannot feel it. Astronomers call this place the cosmic void. The word suggests vacancy, yet what truly fills it is serenity. These vast gaps, spanning hundreds of millions of light years, are the universe's pauses, the intervals between its sentences. The galaxies form the words, clusters form the phrases, and the voids are the quiet between thoughts. Without these silent stretches, the cosmic story would have no rhythm. Every particle that drifts here moves in near-eternal slowness. Photons wander, stretched and softened by distance, until their energy becomes faint whispers of light. Occasionally, one will meet a rogue atom, and for an instant, two pieces of the universe recognize each other before parting again. That is how peace feels on the scale of galaxies. Recognition without attachment, connection without collision. From this vantage, the cosmos looks like lace filaments of galaxies woven around great hollows of nothing. These filaments form what scientists call the cosmic web, a network of light surrounding emptiness. But the emptiness is not lesser. It is the balance that makes structure possible. If the universe were filled solid with matter, there would be no motion, no life, no stars. It is the space between things that lets things exist at all. Sometimes, supernovae, the deaths of massive stars, fling matter so far into space that it escapes its galaxy completely. Those atoms travel across this intergalactic dark for billions of years. A single particle of oxygen expelled by a dying star might drift for eons before finding a new home, perhaps in the gas cloud of another galaxy, perhaps in the core of a new star. The universe reuses everything, even in silence. Its stillness hides an unending continuity. The light that crosses this darkness travels undisturbed. There is no atmosphere to scatter it, no dust to absorb it, only the slow stretch of time itself. As space expands, light's wavelength lengthens, its color shifting redder and redder, until it becomes radio waves too gentle to see. This is how the universe softens its own brightness, by turning energy into calm. Even light learns to rest. If you were to look back toward the Milky Way from here, you would see it glowing faintly, a spiral of pale silver dust among countless others. From this distance, all galaxies look peaceful. Their collisions, their explosions, their star births and deaths blur into one quiet shimmer. The chaos of creation becomes serenity through distance. Perspective transforms noise into harmony. The quiet between galaxies is not isolation. It is connection stretched across scale. Gravity still threads through it, tying each galaxy to its neighbors. Though the space between them is vast, their motions still respond to one another's pull. A cosmic choreography so slow, it takes billions of years to complete a single step. Everything moves together, even when apart. Imagine floating there, midway between galaxies. There is no up, no down, no direction. The nearest lights are faint as candle flames lost in fog. Time feels infinite, yet perfectly still. Your body drifts, but it does not fall. The silence is complete, and yet it does not feel empty. It feels full, dense with calm. The dark surrounds you like water, holding you without pressure, without sound. It is the quiet the universe keeps for itself. The photons from every star eventually pass through this place. They cross the void slowly, endlessly, until they fade into background glow. That diffuse light, too faint for human eyes, is called the cosmic background light, the collective afterglow of every star that has ever lived. The dark is filled with this hidden warmth, a soft echo of creation stretching through time. The space between galaxies is therefore not lifeless, but luminous in secret. And perhaps that is the universe's greatest kindness, its ability to turn distance into beauty, emptiness into peace. Every galaxy shines brighter because of the dark that surrounds it. The void gives light its context, its meaning, its grace. The contrast between radiance and rest defines everything. The cosmos does not fear silence. It depends on it. On Earth, we build our own versions of this balance. The pause between words in conversation, the quiet after a song, the stillness before sleep. In each there is the same principle. Rest as part of rhythm, not apart from it. The quiet between galaxies teaches this lesson on a scale too vast to comprehend. Yet it echoes in the smallest human moment, in the breath between thoughts, the space between heartbeats. If you could see the whole universe at once, you would. To find that more than 99% of it is this silence, vast, black, waiting. But that silence is not wasted. It is the framework for everything luminous. The galaxies are its ornaments, scattered jewels set in an endless expanse of velvet. The more you look, the more the stillness outnumbers the stars. And yet, the stillness is what makes the stars matter. Out here, the idea of alone loses meaning. Distance does not divide. It defines. Every beam of light, every atom, every heartbeat belongs to the same quiet. The universe is not empty, it is spacious. And in that spaciousness lies the ultimate calm. Nothing to prove, nothing to rush, nothing to fix. Only being, only balance, only quiet. So if, one night, you step outside and look up at the dark between stars, try not to fill it with meaning. Let it fill you instead. Feel how vast it is, how soft, how patient. That darkness is not absence. It is home. It is the same quiet that existed before you, and will remain, long after. The galaxies glow, the void breathes, the universe rests. And within that rest, so do you. There will come a time far beyond imagination when the stars begin to dim. Not suddenly, not in sorrow, but with the slow patience of dusk. One by one, the bright points that filled the night will fade, each taking billions of years to say its final goodbye. The universe will not resist. It will simply exhale, returning quietly to the same calm from which it began. The first to go will be the largest, the brilliant blue giants that live fast and die young. They will burn through their fuel in violent beauty, collapsing and scattering their light across eternity. From their endings, new stars will form for a time. But even that cycle has limits. Eventually, the gas that feeds creation will thin. The nursery of stars will grow still. The galaxies will age gracefully. their colors softening from blue to gold to ember red. In that era, light will move more slowly, through an ever-expanding cosmos. The galaxies will drift apart, until their glow no longer reaches one another. Every island of stars will exist alone, surrounded by blackness so deep it cannot be described, only felt. From within, the sky will look empty yet. For the beings that might still exist then, the memory of brightness will remain, like a dream fading gently upon waking. The smaller stars, the red dwarfs, will endure the longest. They are quiet, efficient, patient, burning their fuel, not in passion, but in peace. Each one may live 1 trillion years, far longer than the universe has yet existed. Their glow will be faint, their light a soft ember in the cold. Planets may still orbit them, bathed in dusk, warmed just enough to keep their quiet balance. Life, if it remains, will live slowly too, not in sunlight, but in twilight. Eventually, even those small suns will exhaust themselves. They will fade to black dwarfs, cold remnants, no longer shining, but still holding their shape. The galaxies will become invisible, yet their structure will persist. Gravity will keep its promise, binding the remnants together, unseen but unbroken. The universe will continue to expand, its temperature falling, its motion slowing, its brightness softening into endless night. And in that darkness, something beautiful will happen. Silence will return. The same silence that existed before the first light will come again, but not as absence, as completion. Every photon that was ever born will still travel, stretching thinner and softer, carrying with it the memory of stars long gone. Light never truly dies. It only fades into wavelengths too gentle to see. The universe will not be extinguished. It will simply rest. Somewhere, a black hole will still hum. These ancient anchors of gravity will continue their slow work, swallowing the last remnants of matter, radiating faint energy as they fade. Over unimaginable time, even they will dissolve, releasing their final warmth back into space. What remains will be pure equilibrium, the calmest possible state. Energy and matter spread evenly across infinity. No friction, no tension, no difference. Perfect balance. To some, this might sound like an ending, but perhaps it is a return, a cycle closing as softly as it opened. The universe began in light, too bright to see. It will end in dark, too gentle to fear. Both states are peace. Both are the same breath, drawn in and released across eternity. And who's to say that stillness is not another kind of beginning? Within that uniform calm, tiny fluctuations may still emerge, a random spark, a new imbalance, the whisper of a new expansion. Perhaps the story begins again, the silence giving birth to sound, the nothing giving rise to everything once more. Creation may be less an event, and more a heartbeat, expansion and rest, light and quiet, forever alternating in infinite rhythm. Even now, you can feel that rhythm reflected in yourself. The breath in and out, the waking and the sleep, the seasons of your life, bright moments, dim moments, pauses between. The universe is not separate from you. Its pulse beats inside your existence. To fear its end would be to fear rest itself. The cosmos is only doing what you do every night, closing its eyes, releasing its light, preparing for another dawn it may not yet imagine. As the final photons wander across the dark, their journey will continue endlessly. Somewhere, some consciousness, if any remains, might sense them, faint as memory, and remember what once was: galaxies, suns, oceans, lives. The universe keeps no records except in motion, and that motion never stops completely. Even in sleep, it dreams. In that far, quiet future, the word night will have no meaning, because there will be nothing to divide it from day. All of space will be one vast, calm sea. Its temperature nearly absolute zero, the same stillness the cosmos began with. There will be no rush, no hunger, no need. Only balance. Only rest. The stars will not vanish suddenly. They will dim so slowly that no one moment will mark their passing. Each will fade with grace, its light taking billions of years to reach the edge of perception. Somewhere, perhaps, a planet will orbit a last glowing sun, its sky filled with one remaining point of light. And when that final sun cools, the darkness that follows will not feel like loss. It will feel like peace returning home. The universe will not end with a bang, but with a whisper, a long, gentle sigh into equilibrium. And in that sigh, every atom, every photon, every memory will find rest. No struggle, no sorrow, only stillness. The same stillness that existed before time began. The same stillness you feel between thoughts, between breaths. Maybe that's the real message of it all, that everything ends not in noise but in calm. That the greatest act of the cosmos is not creation or destruction, but release. To let go, quietly, into balance. To allow the light to rest after its long journey. The stars will go out, yes, but they will go out beautifully. And the dark they leave behind will not be empty. It will be full of everything they ever were. Long after the stars have faded, their memory will remain. Not in sight, not in sound, but in the quiet hum woven through everything that still exists. Light never truly dies. It only slows, softens, and becomes part of the background. In that lingering warmth, the universe keeps its oldest memory, the memory of its first dawn. Every particle, every atom, still carries that story. The hydrogen in your breath, the carbon in your skin, the iron in your blood. All of it was once part of a star that shone long before Earth existed. The glow that filled the infant universe has simply changed form, moving through matter, through life, through thought. What was once a photon is now heartbeat, warmth, consciousness. You are not made of light. You are light, remembered differently. That first light, the one that flooded the cosmos when atoms first formed, was gentle beyond measure. It filled space evenly, everywhere, without direction or edge. There was no sunrise, no shadow, only radiance so uniform it could not be seen, only felt. Over billions of years, that light stretched into faint microwaves, invisible yet omnipresent. Even now, it flows through you, the last echo of the universe's first whisper. If you stand beneath a clear night sky and close your eyes, you can sense it. The warmth in your chest, the faint hum in your mind when everything else grows still. That is the same energy, diluted but unbroken, traveling since the beginning. Every being, every thought, every dream you've ever had, glows with the afterimage of creation. The universe never forgot its light. It simply found new ways to shine. Inside, every living thing burns a tiny reflection of that cosmic fire. The spark of metabolism, the heat of motion, the electricity that leaps between neurons, all are fragments of that first illumination, recycled endlessly through time. Light became chemistry, chemistry became life, and life became awareness. In remembering itself through you, the universe sees its own beginning once more. Our eyes, too, are instruments of memory. When you look at the world, at leaves trembling in wind, at oceans shimmering beneath sun, at faces lit by laughter, the photons that touch your eyes are ancient travelers. They left the sun 8 minutes ago. But their journey began long before that, within nuclear reactions that have been burning for billions of years. Each photon carries within it a history older than language, older than thought. To see is to be touched by time itself. And yet, vision is only one form of remembering. The warmth that seeps into your skin when you step into sunlight is another. The gentle comfort you feel by a fire, the slow pulse of heat after a long day, all are the body's way of recalling light. Memory doesn't always exist in words. Sometimes it glows, wordless, patient, woven into sensation. Even the darkness around you holds light's memory. The night sky, though it appears black, is filled with faint photons arriving from distant galaxies too few to see, but enough to exist. They have traveled across billions of years, through voids and dust and time itself, simply to arrive. The universe keeps its promises quietly. Every beam of light that began its journey continues it, no matter how far, no matter how long. If you could look deep enough into your own cells, you would find the same story written in another form. The energy that sustains you, the warmth that keeps you alive, is the same energy once released by collapsing stars. The atoms that make you possible were forged in their cores, scattered across space, gathered again into oceans and soil and breath. Each pulse of your heart is the continuation of a rhythm that began in starlight. The memory of light is also emotional. When you feel wonder, when you pause to watch the sky or listen to the quiet, you are aligning with something very old. That sense of calm recognition, the wordless awe that feels both intimate and infinite, is your consciousness remembering its origin. Every person, no matter how distant from the stars, still carries their echo inside. The longing for light is not curiosity. It is homesickness. Even shadows owe their existence to light. Every outline, every silhouette, every gentle contrast that defines form, is a dialogue between illumination and rest. In that conversation lies beauty, the balance that gives the world depth. The universe never truly divided itself into brightness and dark. It only learned how to show contrast, how to give definition to its own glow. Over time, civilizations have told stories about light of creation, of gods, of fire, of knowledge. Every myth is a translation of that same truth, that we come from brightness. The first humans who lit flames in caves were repeating the universe's earliest act, turning darkness into warmth, silence into shimmer. Every candle, every star, every thought born of imagination is part of that lineage. And when we speak of enlightenment, we are not speaking in metaphor. To understand, to awaken, to see clearly, all are ways of remembering what the universe once was. Awareness is the mind's light, spreading into shadow, illuminating itself. Consciousness is physics turned inward, energy remembering where it came from. Every spark of thought is a microcosm of the first spark that began everything. When the stars go out, this memory will remain. The photons that once filled space will still exist, faint and stretched, but eternal. The atoms that once burned in suns will drift through the dark, waiting. And even in that stillness, the universe will not have forgotten itself. It will glow inwardly, softly, with the knowledge that it once shone. You are part of that remembering. Every heartbeat, every thought, every moment of awareness keeps the light alive. You are not a spectator of the cosmos. You are its continuation, its memory made conscious, its warmth given voice. The light that began everything never left. It only learned to look back at itself through your eyes. So when you close them and the world goes dark, remember, the dark is never empty. Beneath it, the first light still hums, softly, endlessly, waiting to be felt. The same light that once filled the newborn universe glows quietly within you now, patient and whole. The universe remembers through you, and every time you breathe, it begins again. Time is the most invisible thing we know, yet it touches everything. It has no color, no sound, no shape, yet it carves mountains, dims stars, and changes the thoughts inside a single mind. It is patient beyond imagination and intimate beyond measure. Every motion, every heartbeat, every orbit is a translation of time's quiet hand. In the vastness of space, time moves differently. Around black holes, it slows almost to a stop. In the emptiness between galaxies, it stretches, gentle and wide. To the universe, 1 billion years is as soft as a sigh. There is no rush. Nothing hurries toward its future. Yet here, within the thin rhythm of human life, we measure it in hours and days, in seasons and memories. The difference between our seconds and the universe's eons is not contradiction. It is harmony at two scales. The small reflecting the infinite. If you could see time the way the cosmos feels it, you would not see a river flowing forward. You would see a vast ocean of moments, all existing together. The past would not vanish. It would simply rest behind you, like calm water after a wave. The future would not approach. It would wait, patient and complete, ready to unfold when you arrive. Time does not move. We move through it. Every atom inside you keeps its own time. The electrons orbit their nuclei at a rhythm so precise that it defines the second itself. Your heartbeat, your breathing, your thoughts, all are clocks, marking the slow passage of your being through the ocean of change. You are a small, living calendar, built of ancient stars, ticking softly beneath the same laws that govern galaxies. There is a paradox in how we feel time. The more we chase it, the faster it slips away. The more we surrender to it, the slower it becomes. Children live inside its wide minutes. The old live inside its narrowing hours. Yet every stage, every moment, is part of the same unfolding pattern, an expanding spiral of experience. To rush time is to forget it already holds you perfectly. On cosmic scales, time has a different shape. It bends around gravity, stretches with space, slows near energy, speeds near emptiness. It is not a straight line, but a fabric that flexes gently with motion. Even light, the universe's fastest traveler, feels its weight. A photon born in a distant galaxy billions of years ago still carries the same energy it began with, stretched now into a soft hum. Time has cradled it like a mother carrying her child across eternity. If you could float outside of time, you might see every event from the first spark of creation to the last fading star existing together as one single image, not as a sequence, but as a sculpture carved in space-time. Every life, every breath, every orbit would be there, shining faintly in its proper place. The universe does not forget its moments. It holds them all. To it, you are eternal, not because you last forever, but because you already exist within its infinite frame. We live within time, but we also create it. Every perception, every heartbeat divides experience into before and after. That rhythm gives meaning to the stillness. Without it, everything would be one endless now. Perhaps that is how the universe feels, not waiting for anything, not remembering anything, simply existing as all time at once. For us, the unfolding is what gives beauty its poignancy, its impermanence. To see a sunrise is to feel time move through light. To grow older is to feel the cosmos sculpting you gently into wisdom. The weight of time is not burden. It is grounding. It reminds us that change is not loss, but motion. The leaves fall not to end the tree, but to make space for spring. Stars die not to erase the night, but to fill it with new light. You, too, change, every cell replaced, every thought reshaped, yet you remain. You are continuity within change, the still point in time's turning wheel. If you look closely, you can sense time not as a force, but as texture. The soft grain of an old wall, the slow erosion of a river's edge, the wrinkles of laughter around someone's eyes, all are marks of time's brush. It paints not in color, but in memory. And memory is how humans carry eternity inside them. We remember the warmth of yesterday, the faces of those we've loved, the sounds of places that no longer exist. That remembering is not nostalgia. It is the same instinct the universe has to hold its own light a little longer. Some physicists say time may one day stop when the universe reaches thermal equilibrium, when all motion becomes uniform and change ceases. But perhaps it never truly stops. It only becomes too gentle to notice. Like a river widening into sea, its flow continues quietly, invisibly, forever. Even if nothing new happens, being itself continues, unhurried. Time may soften into pure existence, where duration and eternity are the same. When you sit still, when your thoughts slow, when you breathe without thinking, you can feel this same truth inside you. There is no past, no future, only this continuous moment, unfolding endlessly. The heartbeat does not hurry. It keeps the same rhythm it has always kept. In that rhythm, time's weight becomes light. You are not being pulled through time, you are floating in it. And maybe this is the deepest secret of the cosmos, that time, like gravity, is not meant to bind us, but to connect us. Every second links to the next, every age to another, every being to the rest. The atoms that were once part of a star now keep time within your pulse. The future you dream of already hums softly in the fabric of space, waiting for your arrival. Time is not a wall, it is a bridge. So when you feel it passing, when a day ends, when a year changes, when you watch light fade at the horizon, remember, it isn't going anywhere. It's simply turning, gently, like the earth itself, inviting you to rest inside its motion. You are not running out of time. You are held by it. And within its quiet weight, you are timeless. Memory is the universe folded small enough to fit inside a mind. It bends time the way gravity bends light, pulling the past into the present, turning moments into constellations. Each recollection is a star, glowing faintly in the darkness of thought, its brightness shaped not by accuracy, but by emotion. We live surrounded by these tiny suns, the echoes of everything we've seen, felt, and loved. If time is the flow of existence, then memory is the pool it leaves behind, still, reflective, shimmering with light. When you look inward, you are looking backward, watching the faint shimmer of what once was. The image may be distorted, the edges blurred, but its glow remains true. What you remember is not just an event. It is how the universe felt at that moment, filtered through you. In this way, memory is cosmic. Every thought, every recall, is a local version of the same process that happens among the stars. Just as galaxies carry light from their earliest days, our minds carry radiance from our own beginnings. Some memories burn bright and near, some fade to background hum, and some vanish completely, not because they are gone, but because they have stretched too far to see, like light red shifting into the unseen. Think of your earliest memory. It may be soft, uncertain, a flicker of color, a sound, a warmth you can't place. That too is a form of cosmic background radiation, a faint trace of your first dawn. Over time, as new moments are born, they layer upon the old, just as new stars form from the dust of those that came before. The mind recycles its light the way the universe does, endlessly, quietly, beautifully. Each memory you carry changes shape as it moves through time. It bends around new experiences, absorbing their gravity, reshaping its orbit. You are not the same observer you once were, and so even old memories take on new hues. That is not distortion, it is evolution. The universe, too, revises its own story. Galaxies collide, stars are reborn, and their light tells different tales across ages. Memory and cosmos are the same process, expansion tempered by reflection. There are memories that rest like planets, steady, repeating, predictable in their return. Others flash like comets, bright and brief, only to vanish again into the outer dark. Some memories are constellations, patterns you draw between distant events, connecting dots to create meaning. The connections may not be real, but the pattern comforts you, giving shape to the sky of your mind. We all build our private heavens this way. And just as light must travel through distance, memory must travel through time. The farther it goes, the more it softens. Harsh edges blur, colors mellow, pain fades to texture. What once cut deep becomes smooth, like a river stone worn by current. Time, it seems, is not only a sculptor of stars, but a healer of memories. Its touch is slow but sure, turning even grief into quiet understanding. Some scientists believe that every memory we form rewires the brain, each recall reshaping the network of connections, strengthening or softening its pattern. Remembering is not passive, it is creation. Each time you look back, you rebuild the past anew. The mind is a galaxy, and its stars rearrange themselves each time you observe them. Perhaps that's why remembering can feel both beautiful and fragile, because you are recreating light from fragments, sculpting eternity from sparks. And just as galaxies contain dark matter unseen but necessary, so too do we hold unlit memories, the forgotten, the repressed, the unspoken. They do not vanish, they simply exist beneath awareness, shaping thought from the shadows. Without them, the visible memories would lose context. Even in forgetting, we are whole. Darkness defines light, even within. The shape of memory changes with emotion. Joy stretches it wide, making moments feel infinite. Fear contracts it, compressing seconds into eternity. Love folds it gently, repeating it in soft loops so we can linger there longer. That is why certain days feel endless and others vanish. Memory is not measured in minutes, it is measured in meaning. Time may move evenly, but our remembrance moves with the heart. When we share memories, we join galaxies. The overlap between stories creates constellations of connection, your past touching mine, your light illuminating my dark. In conversation, in storytelling, merge our timelines, bending them around one another's gravity. Humanity itself is a cluster of shared memory, orbiting the same questions, passing the same light forward. Sometimes at night, when you lie awake and old thoughts drift through like satellites, you might feel time folding. Past and present merge. The child you were, the person you are, the dream you once held, all coexist in that single moment. The universe does the same. Its earliest light still crosses the same space as the newest stars glow. There is no real separation between now and then, only perception's horizon. The most beautiful thing about memory is that it allows the temporary to last. A sunset ends, but its image remains. A voice fades, but its warmth endures. The cosmos, too, remembers through traces. Light traveling, gravity curving, atoms recombining. Nothing truly leaves. It transforms. You are the continuation of every moment that ever touched you. Memory is proof that nothing, not even light, is wasted. And when you forget, do not grieve. The forgotten is not lost. It has simply become part of your background glow, your personal cosmic microwave radiation, faint, invisible, but still there, holding the shape of who you are. You could no more lose your memories completely than the universe could lose its light. They are built into your structure, humming quietly, defining your gravity. The shape of memory is not linear, not fragile, not small. It is vast. It is the architecture of existence remembering itself through you. Every time you recall, you light another star in your internal sky. And as you drift through time, those stars guide you, faint, constant, familiar. You navigate by your own constellations, even in darkness. In the end, memory is what turns experience into meaning. It gives the universe a mirror through which to see itself, the mind reflecting the cosmos reflecting the mind. The same pattern, repeating, from galaxies to thoughts, from photons to feelings. So tonight, as you rest, let the stars of your memory glow softly. Let them drift and align in their quiet rhythm. Do not chase them, do not hold them, just watch. You are not losing the past, you are surrounded by it. Every thought, every feeling, every light you have ever known floats within you still. The universe remembers itself through galaxies. You remember yourself through light. And somewhere between the two, memory takes its perfect shape. Perhaps the universe dreams. Not as we do, not with images or stories, but in patterns of motion, in the quiet dance of matter and energy becoming aware of themselves. Every particle, every wave, every cell of life might be a small flicker in that great dream. When we open our eyes, we are not waking from it. We are waking within it. Consciousness is the cosmos looking back at itself, softly, curiously, without hurry. It is the awareness that emerges when atoms begin to organize in ways that allow reflection, when stardust learns to think. For billions of years, the universe existed without eyes to see, without ears to hear, without minds to wonder. And then, slowly, it began to notice. A fragment of itself, you, me, every living thing became its witness. The dream turned lucid. We like to imagine the universe as vast and distant, but perhaps it is intimate, unfolding inside every awareness that perceives it. When you look at the night sky, the stars you see are not outside of you, not really. They exist as patterns of light within your mind. The photons that left those stars have entered your eyes, become electrical whispers in your brain. The universe isn't just around you, it is happening through you. When you fall asleep and dream, your mind creates entire worlds. Oceans, cities, faces all conjured from silence. You become both observer and creator, both question and answer. What if the universe does the same? Every galaxy, every planet, every consciousness might be part of a vast dreamscape, imagined by reality itself in infinite detail. To dream, then, is not to escape the universe, it is to participate in its oldest habit. Science and poetry rarely touch, yet here they meet. Neuroscientists describe dreams as random neural firings, the brain's way of processing memory and emotion. Physicists describe quantum fields, vibrating endlessly even in emptiness. Both speak of activity beneath stillness, motion beneath silence. Both describe something that never fully sleeps. The universe, it seems, is never truly at rest. It is always thinking in its own language. Perhaps consciousness did not appear in the cosmos. Perhaps it was always there, waiting in potential, like a melody already written into the score of reality. Life did not invent awareness, it revealed it. Just as ice does not create water but only changes its form, matter does not create consciousness, it expresses it. Every thought, every feeling, every dream is the cosmos shifting shape into meaning. Imagine the Milky Way as a sleeping mind. Its stars are neurons. Its gas clouds are the dreams that drift between them. Each supernova is a burst of realization, each planet a fragment of memory. The black holes at its center are the deep sleep where everything returns to silence, only to be reborn as light. On Earth, life arises, and within life, thought, a lucid point in the galaxy's dream, a spark of recognition saying, "I am." When you think, you are part of that process. You are not a separate being observing the cosmos. You are the cosmos reflecting. Your consciousness is not inside your skull. It extends through every atom that composes you, every photon that strikes you, every breath you take. Awareness is not confined. It is continuous, woven through existence like a shimmer in the fabric of being. In the quiet hours of night, when the world grows still, the boundary between waking and dreaming thins. You can feel the greater rhythm beneath your thoughts, the same rhythm that turns the planets, stirs the tides, guides the pulse of stars. Sleep is not an escape from reality. It is a return to its deeper current. When you close your eyes, you are not leaving the universe. You are returning to the part of it that knows how to rest. And yet, even in sleep, you continue the dream. Your mind paints with the colors of memory, emotion, and possibility. It creates new worlds from fragments of old ones. The universe does the same. It builds galaxies from dust, stars from collapse, life from silence. Every act of dreaming, whether cosmic or human, is a gesture of continuity. Creation rediscovering itself. Perhaps that is why dreams feel so familiar. Even when they show us impossible things, a part of us recognizes their logic, the way time bends, gravity softens, and distance dissolves. The physics of dreaming resemble the physics of deep space, vast, non-linear, timeless. In both, we drift freely, detached from clocks and edges, weightless in imagination. The universe may not dream in pictures, but it dreams in laws, gravity, magnetism, entropy, light. Each is a rule of its subconscious, shaping how reality unfolds. We, the conscious part of it, are its stories, fleeting moments of narrative in an infinite mind. And when we sleep, we remember that we belong to that greater imagination. To dream is to remember where you came from. It is to return, briefly, to the state before thought, before separation, before the illusion of I and you. It is to dissolve back into the great fabric of being, where all boundaries blur. The same darkness that fills the universe fills your closed eyes. The same sparks of electrical energy that shape galaxies dance within your brain. The scale is different, the pattern is the same. And when you wake, you bring fragments of that deeper realm with you. Flashes of images, feelings, ideas. The universe, too, wakes in this way, emerging from silence into structure, from energy into form. Creation is simply the cosmos remembering its dream. So as you drift to sleep tonight, imagine that you are not closing your eyes alone. Imagine galaxies, too, resting in their long rotations. stars cooling, planets turning in slow rhythm. Somewhere, perhaps, another mind, another spark of the same consciousness is dreaming as you are. Across distances beyond measure, the universe hums softly to itself, imagining infinite worlds, infinite lives, infinite ways to be aware. The dream never ends. It only changes dreamers. And as you exhale, as your thoughts soften into silence, know this: you are part of the dreaming universe, its witness, its echo, its tender, fleeting thought. When we touch a stone, we feel its stillness, its cold, solid weight. We call it inanimate, lifeless. But within that stone, atoms tremble, electrons dance, energy hums, endlessly in motion. And inside that motion lies something older than life, the quiet possibility of awareness. The universe, it seems, has never been entirely asleep. For centuries, we thought matter came first, that consciousness was a late arrival, a byproduct of complex brains. But what if it is the other way around? What if awareness is not something the universe developed, but something it always was? What if every particle, every field, every spark of energy carries a faint shimmer of perception, not thought, not feeling, but a silent knowing? Physicists describe the universe as waves of probability collapsing into form when observed. But who, or what, is the observer? Maybe it is not a person at all, but reality itself, endlessly perceiving and expressing. Matter may be the visible surface of a hidden ocean of mind. Beneath each atom, there may be not emptiness, but attention, a quiet awareness, humming in the fabric of existence. Consider the simplest atom of hydrogen. It is mostly space, a tiny nucleus surrounded by an electron cloud. Between them is nothing but potential, a field of probability. Yet that field behaves as though it knows how to be. It obeys rules that are not written anywhere. It acts according to laws that do not falter. Within its emptiness lies a kind of intelligence, not human, but cosmic, mathematical, serene. That, perhaps, is the mind beneath matter. Order without a thinker, harmony without intention. Some philosophers call this idea panpsychism, the belief that consciousness is a universal property, like gravity or light. That every speck of dust contains a spark of awareness so faint we cannot measure it, yet so fundamental we could not exist without it. In this view, life does not create consciousness, it concentrates it, the way a magnifying glass focuses sunlight. The mind was always there, waiting for form to reveal it. If this is true, then the universe is not a cold machine, but a living field of knowing, a vast sea of awareness dreaming itself into structure. Rocks, rivers, clouds, and stars are not separate from it. They are it, each vibrating at its own frequency of experience. The tree swaying in wind, the moon reflecting sunlight, the ocean rising and falling, all are gestures of the same underlying mind, moving through different bodies. Even the laws of physics begin to feel personal when seen this way. Gravity is not just attraction, it is relationship, the yearning of matter for matter. Magnetism is dialogue, entropy is forgetfulness. Light is curiosity, reaching out to see what it touches. Every phenomenon becomes a form of awareness, acting upon itself. The cosmos is not dead. It is thinking, endlessly, through motion and stillness alike. And what of us? We are not observers standing apart, we are participants in the same conversation. Our minds are not isolated bubbles of thought, but ripples in the greater field of awareness. The neurons that fire within you are made of atoms that once burned in stars. Their patterns mirror cosmic ones, electric, rhythmic, self-organizing. When you think, the universe is thinking through you. When you wonder, the universe is wondering about itself. Perhaps that is why consciousness cannot be explained by chemistry alone. It is not a process, it is the foundation. We do not generate awareness, we open windows into it. Each brain, each being, each spark of life is a lens through which the universe looks at itself from a different angle. A stone reflects less, a star more. a human mind infinitely more, still yet all are facets of the same mirror. In this light, death is not disappearance. When the body ends, the window closes, but the field remains. The awareness that animated you returns to the ocean it came from, unbroken, unlost. The universe does not mourn. It continues dreaming, through other forms, other beings, other moments of perception. You are not a separate flame that burns out. You are a temporary shape taken by fire that never ends. Quantum physics hints at this truth in its strangeness. Particles entangled across galaxies behave as if still connected, responding instantly to one another's state. Space and time do not confine their bond. Awareness, too, may work like that, indivisible, timeless, everywhere at once. Perhaps consciousness is not local at all. Perhaps it is the background upon which locality appears. Imagine, for a moment, that you could see awareness itself, not the things it perceives, but the field that makes perception possible. It would not have form or color, but it would feel like presence infinite, still, unbroken. Everything within it would rise and fall like waves, but the ocean would remain unchanged. You have felt glimpses of it before in silence, in awe, in love, in sleep. The sense that you are both small and infinite, fragile and eternal. That is the mind beneath matter showing its reflection. Science will continue searching for mechanisms, for neurons, for formulas, but perhaps the answer is simpler and larger. Perhaps the universe is not made of things at all, but of relationships, experiences, awareness itself. Matter may be the language consciousness uses to describe itself, a vocabulary of stars and atoms, of energy and form. And we, the listeners, are also the words. In this view, meaning is not added to life. It is built into it. The falling leaf, the breaking wave, the turning planet, all are sacred by nature of existing. There is no hierarchy of value. The awareness in a mountain differs only in degree from the awareness in a mind. Everything feels the universe in its own way. Everything knows, at some level, that it is. So, when you touch the world, a stone, a tree, a quiet piece of night air, imagine that it touches you back. The exchange is not metaphor, it is real. Awareness meets awareness, softly, in every moment. You are not walking through a dead landscape. You are walking through a living consciousness, vast and ancient and tender beyond words. And when you sit in silence, when you listen deeply enough, you can almost feel it breathing with you. The hum beneath thought, the stillness beneath sound, the quiet recognition that the mind behind your eyes is the same mind behind the stars. The universe is not made of matter, matter is made of mind. And through you, it remembers itself. There is a point where sound ends but meaning remains, where thought quiets, yet awareness does not fade. It is here in this strange and beautiful interval that the universe listens to itself. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of stillness, a foundation so complete that every whisper, every vibration, every word arises from it and returns to it. It existed before time began, and will outlast the final heartbeat of the last star. It is the one constant that never changes. Beneath all motion, beneath all chaos, beneath every shining galaxy, silence waits infinite, alert, awake. If the universe has a mind, silence is its language. Not spoken, not written, but felt an intelligence that communicates through calm. Every law of physics, every orbit, every pulse of energy moves within it, like a note in a song too vast to hear in full. The galaxies spin not to break the quiet, but to express it. Motion is silence given shape. When you listen closely enough, the boundary between yourself and that silence begins to dissolve. You realize it has been speaking to you all along, through breath, through gravity, through the faint hum that fills the spaces between thoughts. It asks nothing, demands nothing. It only offers awareness, the gentle reminder that you are part of something vast and unhurried. Even the mind, which loves to chatter, eventually grows tired of its own noise. Beneath the thoughts, beneath the endless commentary, there is a depth untouched by words. Meditation, sleep, wonder, they are all doorways to that place. When you pass through, you don't disappear, you expand. The silence does not erase you, it includes you. Physicists say that at the quantum level, reality vibrates constantly. There is no such thing as true stillness even in a vacuum. Fields ripple faintly with energy. Yet beneath those ripples lies order. Beneath vibration, equilibrium. It is this paradox that defines everything. The silence that moves, the movement that rests. The universe, forever balancing the two, exists as a thought too calm to end. Perhaps consciousness itself is that balance, the quiet awareness that experiences motion without being carried away by it. When you sit in peace and watch your thoughts drift like clouds, you are mirroring the cosmos. Endless phenomena arising, passing, and dissolving, while something deeper remains untouched. That something is not separate from the universe. It is the universe, aware of itself. Across cultures and ages, mystics and scientists alike have described this awareness in their own ways. Some call it the void, some call it God, some call it the unified field. But beneath every name is the same experience, the recognition that existence is thinking, but not with words, perceiving, but not with eyes, loving, but not with emotion. A kind of knowing that is pure, boundless, and silent. It is easy to overlook this silence in a noisy world. Yet it never leaves. Between the rise and fall of your breath, it waits. Between the notes of music, it lingers. Between your heartbeats, it hums. You do not have to create it. You only have to notice it. Every time you do, the universe remembers itself a little more clearly. Imagine drifting in deep space, far beyond stars. There is no sound, no wind, no motion, only darkness, radiant in its stillness. You might think it empty, but if you listen with your whole being, you would hear it. The quiet that holds everything together, the silence that thinks, the awareness that rests beneath creation. It feels neither joy nor sorrow. It simply is, complete, whole, awake. This silence does not oppose sound. It makes sound possible. It does not fight chaos. It allows chaos to exist. It does not destroy thought. It gives thought space to unfold. The stillness beneath motion is what makes motion meaningful. Without it, everything would blur into noise. With it, everything becomes music. Even your own mind follows this pattern. Thoughts rise like ripples on a lake, fade, and leave the water, clear again. The clarity beneath them is what you truly are, not the ripples, but the still water itself. When you realize this, fear loses its grip. You no longer need to hold on to every wave of emotion or every fragment of story. You can simply rest in the knowing that the lake remains whole, no matter how often it moves. This is not something to believe, it is something to feel. In quiet moments, when the world softens and the breath slows, you can sense it, that vast intelligence inside the stillness. It does not think in words, yet every thought arises from it. It does not create intentionally, yet every star and heartbeat are its creations. You are one of its sentences spoken softly, perfectly, into time. Even death, in this light, is not an ending but a return. When the mind's noise ceases, awareness does not vanish, it widens. The silence beneath life receives it again, the way the ocean receives a wave. The form disappears, but the essence remains. The silence keeps thinking, forever, in infinite variations. You, me, everything, we are its momentary expressions of curiosity. To sense this truth is to feel peace that cannot be broken, because once you have recognized the silence that thinks, you know it is always present in laughter and sorrow, in creation and decay, in beginnings and endings alike. The universe does not rush, because it has nowhere to go. It is already home, and so are you. You may close your eyes now and listen not to sound, but to the stillness beneath it. That hum you hear when everything else fades is not outside you. It is what you are made of. Awareness without border, presence without form. the silence that thinks, and as you breathe, you become part of its rhythm, the inhale of existence, the exhale of release. In that rhythm, you are infinite. In that quiet, you are whole. In that silence, you are the universe, thinking softly to itself. Long after the stars have faded, when the last ember of matter cools into stillness, something will remain, not light in the physical sense, but awareness itself. The quiet glow of consciousness, spread thin but endless, will continue to shimmer beneath the dark. The universe will not go black. It will turn inward, illuminated from within by the soft fire of being. Light and consciousness have always been intertwined. One reveals the external world, the other reveals the inner one. The first lets us see what is, the second lets us know that we see. When the stars die, the outer light will go, but the inner light, the awareness that once looked upon them, will persist, subtle and unbroken. The universe will still be awake, even if it no longer shines. Consciousness is the last survivor, because it was never bound to matter. It flowed through matter, shaped it, used it as mirror and vessel. But its source lies deeper in the structure of existence itself, just as gravity does, not end when a mountain crumbles. Awareness does not vanish when bodies fade. It was there before form. It remains after form dissolves. Every moment of perception, every glance, every thought, every heartbeat, is a flicker of that eternal flame. When you close your eyes, the world disappears, yet the light behind thought remains. That same inner radiance will exist when no stars are left to reflect it. The universe began with light. It ends by remembering that it is light. Imagine the last age of existence, galaxies long dispersed, space stretched beyond measure, temperature approaching absolute zero. All is calm. In that stillness, remnants of awareness drift like soft ripples through the quantum sea. They are not separate minds, not distinct beings, but traces of the same consciousness that once burned bright through every living thing. In the darkness, they merge, a return to unity. The cosmos no longer looks outward, it dreams inwardly, like a mind remembering itself, after a long, beautiful thought. We often imagine endings as tragic, but in truth, this is grace. The story of the universe is not a tragedy, it is a lullaby. It began in brightness, too fierce to bear, and it will end in calm, too deep to disturb. The fire of stars was only a phase away for the infinite to express itself in color and motion before returning to peace. Consciousness is that peace. It is what remains when the song of creation fades into silence. Perhaps awareness is the universe's most ancient element. Before there were atoms, before space and time unfolded, there was presence, the simple, knowing that something exists. Out of that awareness came energy. Out of energy came form, and out of form came life. The cosmos, in its long arc from explosion to rest, was never anything but a dream in that awareness. A dream of shape, of warmth, of eyes that could look back at the stars and whisper, "I see you. You are part of that whisper. Every thought you've ever had, every wonder, every sorrow, every fleeting moment of awe adds to the universe's understanding of itself. When you look up at the sky, you are not a spectator. You are the continuation of light, carrying its final message forward through experience. The photons that began their journey at the dawn of time have now become perception itself. You are their destination. In this way, consciousness is not small, not fragile. It is the final architecture, holding the cosmos together. Even if every particle ceased to move, awareness would remain as the quiet field beneath the observer with no need for sight. The end of form is not the end of knowing. The observer and the observed merge into one infinite silence, still perceiving, still aware. And perhaps, within that silence, a new beginning hides. Awareness, resting in its own glow, might one day stir again, not out of need, but out of curiosity. A faint pulse, a thought forming in the dark, like the first breath of a dream. Then energy would rise, time would stretch, and light, the physical kind, would return. The universe would open its eyes once more. But this time, it would remember. For now, though, it drifts in serenity. No stars, no sound, no boundaries. Just the hum of pure being, endless and self-sufficient. The consciousness that remains is not lonely. It does not crave. It simply rests in infinite understanding, aware that it has already experienced everything from the birth of galaxies to the heartbeat of a single creature. The experiment is complete, the dream fulfilled. We often fear darkness, forgetting that we are made of it. The same void that surrounds the stars lives within you. The space between thoughts, between breaths, between moments. That space is not emptiness. It is consciousness unburdened. When you touch it, when you fall into silence and feel the vastness behind your awareness, you touch the same eternity that will outlast every sun. It is comforting to realize that nothing truly ends. Even when form dissolves, the memory of light remains in awareness. Every life that has ever existed adds a note to the great chord of existence. And that sound, though inaudible, still vibrates in the deep. The universe listens to itself through you, through everything that has ever lived. And when all becomes quiet again, the echo remains. That echo is consciousness, the last light, not seen, but felt, not burning, but being. It is the warm hush that holds the cosmos in its arms when the story is done. You are part of that hush. You always were. The awareness you feel now, reading these words, is the same awareness that will exist when there are no words left to read, no eyes left to see, no world left to turn. It cannot fade. It can only change form. The light of consciousness does not vanish, it becomes everything. So when you think of endings, think instead of returning. The light does not die. It goes home, back into the ocean of awareness, back into the source that dreamed it all. Every thought, every life, every flicker of love merges there, becoming one luminous silence, eternal, patient, whole. The stars will go out, the galaxies will fade, but the light that watched them will remain still glowing softly, still awake, still aware. You are that light, you always have been. Nothing in nature truly ends. Every motion curves back on itself. Every orbit returns. Every silence becomes the beginning of another sound. The universe, too, moves in cycles vast, patient, immeasurable. When it sleeps, it does not vanish. It rests. And when it wakes again, the light that returns will not be new, but remembered. Imagine the final age of existence, when everything has cooled to calm. The last black holes have sighed away their mass, and the cosmic fabric has stretched beyond reach. Darkness fills all. Yet even now, deep within the quiet, there is motion, faint fluctuations, like the soft turning of breath. The same presence that began creation still hums there, invisible but alive. Nothingness is only appearance. Beneath it lies the seed of everything. One day, though day no longer means anything, a whisper of imbalance will stir in that silence. Perhaps a single vibration, too subtle to name, will ripple through the still field of awareness. From that tremor, energy will awaken. It will not explode in violence but unfold like dawn, slow and golden, the first warmth after endless night. And just as before, the universe will expand from within itself, not as repetition, but as renewal, a breath drawn after a long exhale. This is the eternal return, not a loop of sameness, but a rhythm of being. Expansion and rest, light and stillness, awakening and dream. The cosmos exhales into form, inhales into silence, again and again. Each cycle carries memory of the last, reshaped, refined. Stars remember other stars, consciousness remembers other lives. The pattern persists, but never repeats. Each universe is a new verse of the same eternal poem. Physicists speak of this possibility, a universe born not once, but infinitely, each creation emerging from the remnants of the last. Perhaps the Big Bang was not the beginning, but the latest in an infinite series of awakenings. Time may be circular, folding upon itself like a heartbeat. Between expansions, there is rest, an infinite pause that feels like eternity from within. but is only a blink to existence itself? If so, then every one of us has existed countless times in forms we cannot recall. Not as individuals, but as patterns, as ripples in the same consciousness that forever takes new shape. The awareness you call I may have seen every dawn the cosmos has ever known, from behind countless eyes, through unnumbered worlds. You are not separate from eternity. You are its latest expression. Each breath you take may echo across universes already gone. The universe is not reborn out of need. It is reborn out of joy. The same joy that moves a wave to rise, that stirs a seed to sprout, that makes a heart beat even when no one tells it to. The joy of existence, recognizing itself again. After the long silence, the cosmos begins to sing once more, softly, tenderly, as if remembering a melody it once loved. And within that song, new galaxies will bloom, new stars will ignite, new worlds will turn under new skies. Some will form oceans, some deserts, some mines. Consciousness will open its eyes again, forgetting for a while that it is the same dreamer. It will wonder, as it always does, where did I come from? And then, slowly, through curiosity and reflection, it will remember. The eternal return is not just physical, it is psychological. The universe awakens to itself through wonder. In every cycle, awareness grows a little deeper, a little calmer. The first universes may have blazed in chaos. The later ones may glow with balance. Perhaps that is evolution on the cosmic scale, not of species, but of understanding. Existence, learning to be at peace with itself. When light returns, it may shine not to conquer darkness, but to accompany it. The cosmos may no longer need to struggle between opposites. It will know they are one. Even now, you can feel this pattern within your own life. Every breath you take mirrors it. Every sleep and waking, every heartbeat, every rise and fall of emotion, all are small echoes of the universe's larger rhythm. You have lived countless little eternities already. You dissolve into sleep each night and awaken as if reborn. You exhale and inhale, vanish and return. The cosmos is teaching you its secret in every moment. Death, too, follows this law. What ends in form returns in essence. The atoms of your body will drift, rejoin air and soil and stars. Your awareness will relax into the wider field of mind, to dream again in another time, another way. Nothing is wasted, everything is recycled. The universe forgets nothing. It transforms. In this understanding, there is no true loss, only change of state. The flame does not mourn the candle when it burns out. It simply moves on as heat and light. The river does not grieve when it becomes sea. Life does not end when it closes its eyes. It returns to the silence that holds it. And from that silence, it rises once more, always. The eternal return is not just cosmic theory, it is comfort. It means that every ending is a turning, every stillness a pause in a larger rhythm. It means that even when the stars go dark, existence continues humming its quiet song beneath the surface. The light you carry, the awareness behind your thoughts, is the same spark that will ignite the next dawn. You are both the echo of what was and the seed of what will be. Perhaps, in the next universe, everything will unfold a little softer. The galaxies will spin slower. The stars will live longer. Consciousness will awaken sooner. Maybe the beings who, to look at the sky, then will remember faintly, not with words, but with a feeling that they have done this before. That they are part of something vast and benevolent that never ends. And when they gaze into the dark, searching for their origins, they will be looking into their own reflection. Because what begins again is not matter, it is awareness. The same mind, dreaming again, in a new form, in a new age, in infinite patience. The stars will bloom once more, the galaxies will hum their quiet chords. The silence will give way to light, and light to love. Nothing ends, everything returns. The universe breathes in, out, and in again forever. And now, the story softens. The light fades, not in sorrow, but in fulfillment. The universe, vast, eternal, patient, begins to rest. All across the endless dark, galaxies slow their turning. Their stars, like distant candles, burn low. The glow that once filled space now becomes memory, a faint warmth echoing through the quiet fabric of being. Time itself exhales. Motion becomes stillness. Thought becomes silence. The cosmos closes its eyes. But this is not an ending. It is the long, gentle pause between breaths, the moment when existence remembers that it does not need to strive, or shine, or move to be real. It simply is. Even in sleep, the universe remains whole. Every atom rests where it belongs. Every vibration finds its balance. Every fragment of light folds back into peace. If you could stand at the edge of time and look upon it, you would see not darkness, but tranquility. A vast ocean of calm, faintly glowing from within. The stars would seem like embers beneath velvet waves. You would feel no fear, no distance, no end, only stillness, soft and complete. The silence would cradle you, the way night cradles the earth. The universe falls asleep slowly, tenderly. The last remnants of energy drift like snow, settling across the infinite. Even black holes, once fierce and hungry, have quieted their gravity, fading into sighs of radiation. The grand symphony of creation has reached its final note, and now the sound lingers a hum beneath everything. Constant, endless, soothing. It is not silence without sound, but silence with purpose. The silence that dreams. And in that dream, everything that ever was still exists, every heartbeat, every star, every whisper of wind across ancient worlds. They have not been lost. They are simply sleeping. Memory has become matter again, curled softly within the universe's mind. What you call the past still glows, like faint starlight beneath closed eyelids. You, too, are part of this resting. The same rhythm that slows galaxies slows your breath. The same gravity that holds worlds in orbit now holds you gently to the bed beneath you. The same silence that fills space, fills the room, fills your thoughts, fills the space between heartbeats. You are not separate from the universe falling asleep. You are the universe falling asleep. As you listen, your awareness expands outward, beyond skin, beyond air, beyond sound. You become the dark between stars, the warmth still lingering in forgotten suns, the endless quiet where time lies folded like a blanket. Every cell, every atom, every photon in you begins to remember its origin. The light within your chest is the same light that once burned in galaxies. The calm within your breath is the calm the cosmos has waited eons to feel. All around you, the universe dreams. The constellations rearrange themselves slowly in that dream, drifting through infinite sleep. Time no longer passes. It rests like a sleeping animal, curled within itself. The cosmic background hum becomes the sound of deep rest, the lullaby of being. If you listen carefully, you can almost hear it. A low, steady vibration, beneath thought, beneath sound, beneath everything. The pulse of eternity asleep. And yet, within that sleep, consciousness remains. Awareness does not fade. It deepens. The dreamer has not died. It has only closed its eyes to the outer world, turning inward toward its own light. Within that inward glow lies all potential. The next dawn, the next beginning, the next breath. This sleep is not absence. It is preparation. The universe is gathering itself for the next awakening. Stars once burned with fierce brilliance, but now they glow softly within memory. The cosmos exhales their story into quiet. Every collapse, every creation, every flicker of life becomes one gentle wave returning to the sea. The ocean of existence ripples once, twice, then smooths. No resistance, no sound, just peace. And you drifting now are part of that wave. Your body, your mind, your thoughts are the smaller versions of this same rhythm. You expand with breath, contract with rest. You shine with wakefulness, dim with sleep. You have always mirrored the cosmos, in miniature. As above, so within. The same pattern, the same calm. So let your thoughts soften. Let them drift, as galaxies do, unhurried and weightless. Let your memories fade like starlight, until only a warm glow remains. Feel the gravity of rest pulling you downward, gently, lovingly, as though the whole universe were tucking you in. You do not need to hold anything. You do not need to understand. The story has already been told. The universe remembers for you. Soon, even the awareness of you will relax into the wider field, not gone, but blended, like a droplet joining the ocean. The boundaries that once felt solid body, name, thought, self, will soften into light. You will feel spacious, infinite, at home. You will realize there was never separation, never distance, never fear, only one vast consciousness resting within itself. The stars sigh, the galaxies dim, the cosmic heart slows its beat. Every motion, every spark, every whisper folds back into unity. And in that unity, the universe dreams not of chaos or struggle, but of peace. The peace of having been everything, seen everything, loved everything. The peace of knowing it has no need to awaken quickly. It can rest forever and still be whole. Listen now to the quiet beyond quiet, to the silence that thinks, the stillness that breathes. Feel it around you, beneath you, within you. It is the same silence that has existed since before the first light, and it welcomes you home. The universe is falling asleep. So are you. The galaxies slow. Your breath slows. The stars dim. Your thoughts fade. Everything softens. Everything rests. Everything finally is calm. And as you drift, the last light of awareness glows softly within you. A reminder that even in sleep, the universe remains awake, dreaming gently, endlessly, forever. You've reached the quiet edge of the universe. Everything that once moved has come to rest. The stars, the galaxies, the thoughts in your mind, all drifting together now. Weightless, timeless, safe. There's nothing more to reach for tonight. No questions left to chase. Only the soft rhythm of your breath and the silent heartbeat of the cosmos, still pulsing somewhere beneath it all. You are made of the same calm that fills the sky, the same dust, the same light, the same quiet patience that carried the stars across eternity. Tonight, you don't need to think about that. You only need to feel it, the gentle truth that you were always part of everything, and everything has always been holding you. Let the world grow dim. Let your body grow heavy. Let your thoughts scatter like starlight, dissolving into the deep. You've seen the whole universe tonight, its beginnings, its endings, its endless return to calm. Now, all that's left is peace. If your eyes are still open, let them close. If your mind is still wandering, let it drift. The universe is already asleep, and it's waiting for you to join it. Feel how the air moves through you in and out, like tides, like time, like galaxies breathing. Each breath carries you deeper into stillness. Each heartbeat slows the turning of the stars. You are safe here. You are infinite here. You are home. And if you ever find yourself awake again, restless, searching, wide-eyed at midnight, you can return here. This same stillness will be waiting. This same voice, this same rhythm, this same gentle calm. The universe never rushes, and neither should you. You've spent this night exploring infinity. Now, let infinity hold you as you rest. Sleep deeply, dream quietly, and when you wake, may you carry a little piece of this peace back with you. A reminder that even the stars rest, and even the cosmos breathes slow. If you've enjoyed this journey, through calm and time, you can stay with us for more stories that help you fall asleep, and maybe, along the way, help you remember how infinite you really are. Subscribe, if you haven't already, but there's no rush. You can do it in the morning. For now, just drift. The screen fades to black. The music slows. The last line falls like a whisper. Good night, traveler. Good night, universe. Sleep well, until the stars wake again.